Unleash. Are you listening? Can you hear me? This is Unleash. Are you listening? Can you hear me? This is Unleash. Are you listening? Can you hear me? This is Unleash. Are you listening? Can you hear me?
With your host, Brandon Tierney. In 3, 2, 1.
I can't watch this Yankee offense anymore. I mean, this Yankee offense is just, it is just awful. I mean, the Yankees offense is trash. Wow. What a rough weekend. What's going on, everybody? BT Unleashed on a Monday. We are absolutely stacked today. It's going to be a monster week. Cavaliers, thank you. Give the Knicks home court advantage. I don't know if that's the better of the two matchups, but we'll certainly get into that. We've got 3 burning questions. We'll get the calls going. Hey, Dave Rothenberg today. I am really looking forward to having Dave on the show. I mean, I've kind of made a little bit more of this than it really is. It's not really this big beef. I mean, these guys are kind of messing around a little bit, but Dave is a great sports fan and I think a really talented guy. And he's really the first person that I've had on the show and he'll come on at 11. He's obviously doing his show and then he's got some stuff to do, who I really don't know. I've never met Dave. I've never been in the same room as Dave. I've been a fan from a distance. I love his unbridled, unapologetic passion. He's a nutball, and I can relate to that. So he's my kind of guy. Big Mets guy, big Giants guy, big Knicks guy. I'll have a little fun with him as well. All right, so today's show brought to you by Sullivan Papane, of course, and we're just going to jump right into this. Find Sullivan online at triallaw1.com. That's triallaw1.com. Remember the name Sullivan Papane, and by Premio Sausage. Hello, Premio on the barbecue this weekend. My God, it's phenomenal. Premio Sausage, the way sausage should be. Find them at premiofoods.com or in your local grocery store. Listen, here's what I don't get. I'll get to some of the specifics for both the Yankees and the Mets here. Obviously, some Knicks stuff, as I said, before we get into Dave and all the other stuff. But, you know, there's one rule that everybody should understand about the Subway Series. It's not year 3. It's not year 10. It's year 30 of the Subway Series. And the rule is very simple. When your team loses, you don't have the right to talk shit. Lay out. I mean, I'm seeing these tweets yesterday from Yankee fans. You honestly look idiotic. I mean, it was an ugly series. The Mets are dropping pop-ups. The Yankees are colliding into everybody in the middle of the infield. And Bednar is on my last nerve. I'm going to really get into him very early. And the dead wood, 3, 4, 5 absolute zeros in the Yankees offense is just utterly unacceptable. And it's the same stuff every year. But guys, you got to know the rules, man. I get it. You want to poke your buddy. You want to flex a little bit. But from a Yankee perspective, right? And I saw this a lot. The Yankees lose and they played horrendously in the process, right? Just a sloppy, listless performance pretty much all weekend, right? So you give the Mets credit. The Mets won 2 out of 3. And on the very on the most basic level, the Mets have at least revived their season. Like, that needs to be said. They play better baseball now for a couple of weeks, and we'll see where it goes. I still don't think that they're very good. The Yankees have a world of issues. But, like, if you're a Yankee fan and, your middle infielders collide and your closer hangs a flat meatball curveball to a guy who's hitting a $180 who hits a 3-run shot, just zip it. Shut off social media for the day, because what I saw was, and it's just so petty, and I know that there's always going to be pettiness in the Yankee-Met, dynamic. I get that. It's kind of fun. But, I mean, you got to know when to just take the cue and to just disappear and go make yourself small. You got to know when to lay out. I'm seeing a barrage of tweets from Yankee fans, right? And the gist of it is, well, the Mets are whatever, 7 or 8 games under 500. Even seeing Soto looks miserable. The Mets stink. Big brother, little brother. Just shut up. Be quiet. Like, there is no merit right now for the Yankee fan to stand on. There's nothing. Like, they really just look awful. I mean, you got Grisham 0 for 5. I don't want to hear a damn thing about Trent Grisham anymore. I've been over Trent for a while, certainly as the leadoff hitter. Guy's hitting $166. Don't tell me about the advanced analytics. He's barreling, and I love that stuff. But there's a time and a place for it. When you were hitting 166, and it's basically almost Memorial Day, don't tell me about barreling the ball or chase rate or squaring it up. I don't need it. I don't care. It's irrelevant right now. He's hitting 166, and his on-base percentage is 290. And then you got Ryan McMahon, who was trash to start the year, had a little flicker. This guy hasn't gotten a hit in a week. I mean, Ryan McMahon has literally not had a hit in a week. And he is back down to, Ryan McMahon territory, hitting a $183. His on-base percentage is 258. And then Austin Wells. It is almost impossible to play the amount of games he's played so far. He's played 35 games. He's got well over 100 at-bats. And the dude's got 5 RBIs. 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 5. And he's on base 29% of the time. See, now, there are some things with this team that will eventually resolve themselves, right? Now, it looks like they dodged a bullet with Fried. Hopefully, Garrett Cole when he comes back. And, and trust me, Bednar, he is just, good guy. Just enough with this guy. But I'm not really that worried about Bednar because even though the Yankees seem pretty committed to him, meaning I'm not worried about him because I don't think he's going to be pitching when the Yankees have leads moving forward. Like, if they're that dumb, then they don't deserve to win anything. Like, if they keep rolling this dude out there, into October, they are begging to get beat. So, obviously, we all know his ERA is almost 5. His whip is over 1.5. He's just been wretched, right? He's been an unmitigated disaster. He's had 20 appearances this year. 6 times he's had a clean performance. It's always a hit, a walk, a hit, maybe another hit, the tightrope. And like, again, I really don't think that he'll be the closer when it matters of consequence. He can't be. Like, he's just not that guy. And I remember saying a while ago, whether it's LeGrand, I don't know who it's going to be. You're going to have to make a trade at some point. What else is new? Yankees got to make multiple trades despite having a payroll over $300 million. But Bednar, to me, will either be the 8th inning man or the 7th inning man. He will not be the closer of record this year. That's easy to fix because they got a bunch of flamethrowers who are going to be up in the bigs pretty soon, and they can't be worse than him. They cannot be worse than Bednar. So I'm not going to, even though I went a little nuts, I'm not going to just rail on and on and on and on about Bednar because he is what he is, all right? But when you get beat, this is one of the core principles of baseball. Get beat with your best. And I know he's got some decent secondary stuff, but you got Tyrone and respect to Taylor. He is still a major leaguer. I know it's easy to dump on him, and I'm not trying to diss the guy. And he crushed a massive 3-run home run that eventually gave the Mets a chance to win when the Yankees were colliding with themselves on defense. And the half inning before that, they couldn't score a run off Devin Williams, right? But to throw a curveball there and to get beat on a 3-run rocket by a guy who, if he didn't play with such intensity and really couldn't catch the baseball, I don't even know if he'd be in AAA as a hitter. He very well might be a AA hitter. That's how bad he is relative to his peers, all right? Still one of the 1% best in the world, but we all know that. I'm judging him on other Major League Baseball players. You allowed Taylor to beat you. Throw the fastball by him. Just inexplicably pathetic. My God. I mean, if Judge doesn't do something, and Rice doesn't do something, and Bellinger doesn't do something, the Yankees just have no chance to do anything. It is just anemic. They've lost 8 of 11. They've scored 18 runs in those games. They've got 3 hitters on the team that anybody trusts. The bullpen's atrocious. It's the same song and dance, it seems, Now, from a Met perspective here, listen, there's still several checkpoints to get to. Doesn't mean you can't flex, and you are having a little bit of fun with the Yankee buddies on the WhatsApp chains and on social media. I get it. Those are the rules. When the Yankees beat the Mets, when the Yankees beat the Mets, the Yankee fan doesn't seem to flex as much as the Met fan, but we all understand the dynamic. It is what it is. The Mets, even though the Yankees look like shit again right now, the Mets are aspiring to become the Yankees, and the Yankees are one of the platinum brands, even if it's not quite as platinum as it once was. in all the sports. Like, we know that. Like the Dodgers, the Celtics, we get it, right? And the Mets, that's what they want to be. That's what Cohen basically promised you. That is their mission, spending money, taking Soto, pivoting to Bichette when Tucker didn't come. Like, they are at least changing, at least coming into the season, changing how they need to be perceived throughout baseball. And they are a team that is now serious about winning. When too often with the Wilpons, they weren't serious about winning. And the records reflect that. The payrolls reflect that. And all the stuff around the Mets over the years obviously reflects that painfully for the Met fan. But, I look at this team and it sucks for Clay Holmes. Horrible. By the way, what a warrior, man. Gets his leg basically busted and he doesn't even come out of the game. And he ran after the ball, tried to make the play. Like Clay Holmes, like, you've got to respect that. Now, one of the problems with the Mets is that Peralta's a 5-inning guy. Not good enough. If I'm the Mets, there's no way I'm giving him 4 years at, 120, whatever it might be. I'm not doing it. If the Mets fall out of not that they're in the race yet, but if they continue to play well and they make a little push and then they eventually fall the other way, I'm trading Peralta before I'm signing him. Like, there's still a lot to be determined where the Mets go. Like, to me right now, I still don't think the Mets will be a playoff team. I think the Yankees will be a playoff team. I mean, the more they play like this, I've got to at least incorporate the possibility of them not being a divisional winner. I mean, the Rays are playing lights out. Their starting pitching's been phenomenal. They don't fear, nobody really fears the Yankees. The Rays don't fear the Yankees. They catch the ball. They're athletic, and the Yankees just automatic out after out. It is just ridiculous to watch this team and 6 or 7 guys they roll out there. And it's literally the same approach every single time. I don't care that he had some moments over the weekend. I can't wait till Jazz Chisholm's off the team. I can't wait. Now, he's not my main target today because he has shown some life, all right? But, it's the same thing. Swinging for the moon, man on third, nobody out, nobody on, nobody out, bases loaded. Like, it doesn't matter what the situation is. This guy just does not. He refuses to alter. He's incapable of altering his approach to the situation. Now, so that is what it is. And I've been telling you about Jazz for a while with this, right? Volpe. I mean, I had a great day yesterday, and I'm really, really happy for Anthony Volpe. That last play aside, I don't even know if they're going to get him at the plate. So, we could sit here and say, like Yankees colliding on a play, winning run scores. I know the optics are not good, not buttoned up there, but I don't even think you're going to get him out at home either way. So I think the Yankees still lose that game, even if either one of those players makes the play clean. If it's Volpe, he's going towards first base. If it's the second baseman, I still think it's a contact play. I still think he's safe. Either way. I think maybe this is, I don't really believe this, but I'll put it out there. If Anthony Volpe's turning the corner, and I hope he is, I don't think he is, but if he is, well, then now maybe, you got Caballero out there every day. Lombard, and we talked about this last week. I don't want to really reset that too much, but when I had Aaron Boone on, everything that he told us, Lombard's going to be on the Yankees this year. Fact. He's just going to be there. He's hitting some rough luck in the minors, AAA. He ripped up AA. We get that. He can play short. He can play second. He can play. I even said he could probably play left field and not embarrass himself. Like, he's just a ball player. So Lombard will be here. The bullpen will resolve itself. Kids will come up. Roles will be reallocated. Bednar will lose his closer's job and all that stuff. And Judge will go on a heater. And Rice is healthy again. And Belly's a pro. But maybe the only way without a massive trade, whether it's Quan, whether it's Trout, whatever, maybe the only way to get this thing looking a little bit better night to night is you just sit McMahon down once and for all. I don't care how good he is catching the ball. Hasn't had a hit in a week, as I said. And it's always like this, right? So any flicker of hope from him has already quickly been extinguished, right? All the mechanical tweaks and the different approach. He is what he is, dude. So that's number one. I mean, can I envision? I know they're going to keep running Jazz out there. So until he's gone, I can't go nuts. Jazz at second, Caballero at third, Volpe at short. I mean, and then more speed, a little more contact from Cabby. He's a nuisance. He's got different skill than McMahon that can impact the game when he's 0 for 4 or 0 for 3. I don't know. But it was just another. I mean, the Yankees have looked listless now. It's not a week, it's a couple of weeks. And now they got some good teams that they're playing, and it's either going to get better real soon and kind of alleviate some of these fears that are building quickly, or it's going to get exponentially worse. And I don't really have a feel for which one's coming. I mean, really, if I had to take a stab, I would say it would be the worst of the two. Because, Wells and Grisham and Wells and McMahon and all these other guys who are complete zeros at the plate. They are what they are. They're not like young kids trying to figure it out. They are veterans who are entrenched in their ways, and most of those ways are bad. They're streaky. They've got holes in their swing, and there's a lot of statistics over their career that backs up the fact that who they are is really who they are. Where maybe with somebody like a Volpe, because it's not that it's early. He's played 3 full years. Let's not go nuts, but less evidence. So maybe a sliver of hope. Obviously, Dominguez, who's hurt. Spencer Jones, it's still early. Lombard, when he comes up, at least there's intrigue there. There is no intrigue with 70% of this lineup. It just stinks. It stinks. So not a good weekend there, J-Rod. Let me get my boy Jay up. What's going on there, Jay? How are you?
What's up? How's it going?
Good. Hey, by the way, I got to tell you this real quick. So yesterday I got a text, right, from Alex, right?
Okay. A little follow-up on last week's
No. It wasn't a follow-up. No, it wasn't a follow-up because for those who made whatever, I'm not trying to like show off or anything. But if you missed it, just so you know what J-Rod's referencing, Alex said, yeah, you got to fly out. This is when the T-Wolves were still playing, come to a playoff game, whatever. So we had a little fun with that. Couldn't make it happen logistically, and now they're done. No, it wasn't about that. It was, he just texted me randomly. He's like, dude, I'm sitting here watching the interview. Like, this guy is a content consumer. Yep. Like, he loves this stuff, right? He's sitting there watching the interview with me and Joe B.
No way.
Yeah. And unbeknownst to me, he is a massive fan of Joe Beningo. Massive.
No way, really?
Massive.
That's funny.
He's like, this interview was amazing. I've always loved Joe. So long story short, he's like, I know Joe plays a little golf because, Joe and I talked about it on the show. He's like, you think Joe would want to go play golf? The three of us. I'm like, yes. I mean, Joe would play golf with a broomstick. That's how much Joe loves playing golf, let alone Alex Rodriguez. So I got them on a text chain. I got us on a chain this morning. Try to set it up. How wild is that?
Dude, I mean, that's cool. It's even cooler to think like, yo, A-Rod's out here watching Unleashed. Like, that is sick, man.
No, I know. He does that a lot, He does that a lot. He is a guy that's one of the reasons why he's very successful.
YouTube?
Well, he loves YouTube, but he's very buttoned up. Like, he's a guy, if you look at all of his business endeavors, right? With all the money he's got, and he can bring in other investors. It's not like he's using all of his money. Obviously, when you have money, you use other people's money effectively to make more money, right? That's pretty much the way it goes. But he has always been a guy in every business practice, and even as a baseball player, being incredibly attentive to detail, et cetera. He wants minutia. He wants to know what's going on.
Yep.
And I think I told you, when he and I had lunch last summer, when we started to really get to know each other a little bit, he referenced something that I said about him 15 years ago. Like, the guy does his home. I called him corny. Yeah, it's all over him. A-Rod used to drive me a little nuts. Not that I was of course I respect Jeter, but like, I wasn't one of these guys who was like, I love Jeter, I hate A-Rod. I was one of these guys who was like, Alex, you're better than Derek. Just go out there and show it. And then eventually he did. It was when he was sunbathing in Central Park. I went nuts. I'm like, oh, what a cornball. Yeah, whatever I said. And he knew it. So he is not a guy who messes around with that stuff. Funny. So hopefully we can get that going. What'd you do this weekend? What'd you have cooking?
Had my cousin's bat mitzvah, and then
that's right.
I kind of took your advice from Friday a little bit, not fully. I went fishing out in Red Hook yesterday.
You did?
Off the pier. I didn't charter a boat or anything, but
I don't think that they have charters in Red Hook. At least
I don't believe so. It seems like Sheep's Head's kind of the main place. You take it's like, not the Mary Jane for something. Mary Jane
and I think Canarसी's guy used to rent a little skiff. A skiff is like a little rowboat with a motor, and we'd go out there for a week fish by the Canarsie Pier. Okay, so you went off. Did you catch anything? No,
nothing. No, it was. I think it was just way too hot yesterday. There was a guy who he was fighting with something, didn't end up catching it. But no, we were just out there kind of drop fishing off the
nice,
pier
dude.
But it was fun.
What? And not even a nibble there, Jay?
Dude, nothing. I mean, I pulled it up and there the worm was gone on one of the casts, but like it could have just been like it hit the ground or something like that.
Did you guys have any other type of bait? Did you have any herring or anything or any squid?
No, we just did sandworms, like live sandworms, cut them up and stuff. But yeah, that was the weekend. I mean, I caught a little bit of game 1 of the Subway series. Man, dude, I find it very interesting that clip we put out came exactly to fruition a little bit. Not the sweep one, the other one where you were kind of like, okay, the Mets are in this position going into this series. The Mets are kind of, they're catching some heat. They're catching fire. They're moving on up. Obviously, things aren't great. They're not phenomenal, but it looks a little better. And the Yankees are kind of dragging their feet. The offense is looking sluggish. They're burning games. And what happened? Exactly that. Not a sweep by any stretch of the imagination, but the Mets pulled away looking like the more young, more dynamic squad, and the Yankees kind of blew out the candle. They kind of burnt out, sizzled out. So I thought that was very interesting.
I hear you. I think one of the big differences right now, it doesn't mean that this is going to lead to where the Met fan wants it to lead, but at least it's a different product. Like the Yankee fans pretty much watching the same thing again. Grisham miscast the leadoff hitter, a third baseman who can't hit, a catcher who can't hit, all the things that plague the Yankees, where at least the Mets, and I use the word juice, and that's why certainly when Ewing was called up, who stole 70 bases in the minors a year ago, and Benj, who made the team out of spring training, it's a little different in that sense, where it's not like, now Lindor's hurt, year 1 for Peralta, year 2 for McClain, and we all know who's gone. Vientos has been a little streaky, but at least there just seems to be a little bit of an energy around the Mets. And listen, as a little bit. And I don't think it's going to sustain itself again.
Yeah.
If I'm putting money down now, I would not think the Mets will be a playoff team. Doesn't mean I'll be right, but I don't anticipate that happening. But I do have to say this, because I want to be fair to everything. When I said, and I said this, I'm not running from it, and I still think it applies, where if things go bad again for a prolonged stretch, or certainly after the season, like Mendoza's obviously managing for his job. But if I'm going to say what I said when things were awry and just looked optically awful and lifeless and hopeless, I got to give the guys some credit, because, they have found a way to regenerate. And I think that that's just being true to putting out content that is not, one-sided or unfair. And I wanted to make sure I said that, he's not going to win Manager of the Year here, but I mean, this guy was hanging by a thread, where twice David Stearns was asked about job security. They couldn't win a game. They looked, I don't know what the 62 Mets look like. I know what their record was, but they pretty much looked like the 62 Mets, or at least like the early 80s before they got Hernandez, or late 70s Mets. They just looked like one of those teams that was going to win 68, 69 games, like just unwatchably, unspeakably bad, compounded by the fact that they spend a lot of money and all the moves that they made, which had, the fans, with the fangs out and the claws out, ready to rip apart David Stearns.
Yep.
So, it's one of these checkpoints. I love the Subway series. I've said this before. It's still a good thing. 30 year. It is amazing that it's year 30. My God.
Dang.
The Yankees have not, I believe it's 2018 or 2019. The Yankees have not won a Subway series in Queens since, I think, 18.
Wow. Okay. So it's been a minute.
It's been a minute. Like in terms of this, let me shut my phone off. Hold on, I'm getting blown up here. The Subway series has been very one-sided recently in favor of the Mets. Like the Mets have been. Now, what does it mean? It doesn't. It's 3 of 162 this weekend, and then the next iteration 3 more of 162, so 6 of 162. But it's undeniable that there's a little spark. The stadium sounds a little different. And obviously more energy. It's nice, even when I was on the Fan and when I was on ESPN radio back in the day, it's always nice to be able to talk about the Yankees and the Mets simultaneously.
Definitely.
I think too many times we did that, and like that's something that me and Sal really tried to guard against. Where I think invariably, like you talk, and this wasn't always the case, but I think it happened the last. Honestly, a lot of the stuff was with Soto, clearly derived from that, but. It's okay to talk about the Mets and just talk about the Mets. It's okay to talk about the Yankees and just focus on the Yankees. But like all these blurred lines, you start with the Mets and then eventually the Yankees creep in. And I almost think it's a disservice to each team. So the thumbnail sketch is this. And right now the Mets have a little life. And right now, the Yankees look like absolute trash. That's the bottom line. There's no other way to dissect it. Like if there were, if you had like two more guys like Ben Rice or, if Soto was still here or even if Stanton was playing, like it would look a little bit different. Well, then you could say, it's kind of the cyclical nature of baseball. Okay, how many runs you score? Okay, what your starting record is to begin the season. I don't care how many home runs you hit. Like, you're just going to go through a lean period where you're going to look a lot worse than you are. And conversely, and this applies to the Mets as well, you're going to look better than you are at some points. Now, most of the year, the Mets have looked worse than they probably are. And the onus is on them, not to me, not on me. The onus is on them to change the narrative. And I give them credit. They're starting to change the narrative a little bit. It's early in the sense that they just lost so many games and literally had the worst record in baseball. That mountain is still steep and not going to be easy trekking up that. And I don't think that they'll get there. But the fact that I could even say I don't think that they'll get there is very different from what I've said. And we've all said for a while. There's no chance in hell of getting there, Oh, my God. Oh, God. Brian Cashman sucks. Another incomplete roster. I just don't have the energy for Cashman today. I just, where I stand on that. I'm looking forward to chatting with Dave Rothenberg. This will be fun. Get it up there. Now, again, get it up there.
Let me toss it up.
Yeah, get it up. Yeah, listen, I was trying to play this up a little bit. Rothenberg and Jerry Beef, squash it. I mean, it's all derived from, sporting opinions. I know Jerry thinks that Dave is talented. I'm sure Dave, likes some of Jerry's work and thinks he's a good guy. But we'll kind of flush through it a little bit. Dave's going to join me at 11. Looking forward to it. And I want to get into his career. Like to me, if you look at the New York landscape in terms of the radio and obviously TV as well, but I'm going to focus more on the radio, right? Got a couple of ex-athletes, Boomer, Tiki, DiPietro. You've got a couple of legends, like Michael Kay, Craig. You've got a lot of conventional radio people. I was obviously one of them. LaGreca didn't play a sport, who's great. Evan, who's, a fan and a great broadcaster, and all that, and Marash, and everybody. I don't need to run down every single name, but Dave, to me, is a guy who has been really underrated for a long time. I'm not just saying that because I'm having him on the show. Like, if I didn't think he was worthy of having him on the show, I wouldn't have reached out to him. Like, I think he's an interesting talent, and it's going to be fun to go through his career. I don't know anything about his career, except that he's been at ESPN Radio for a long time, doing a great morning show with DiPietro, who's also talented. Those guys have a good crew in the morning. Santiago, who is part of the show. I worked with Ray for a long time when I was at 1050. Good guy. But I think it's going to be a lot of fun going through, his career and his thoughts, and obviously get some thoughts on the Mets and the Jerry stuff and the Knicks. And I know his son's playing college baseball right now. I remember hearing Dave when, I think his son's name is Ben, when Ben was in high school. And he was doing pretty well. Very proud of him, as every parent would be. And he just finished up or is finishing up his first year in college. So we got a lot to hit. Looking forward to it. All right. So what time you got? All right. Since we're a little pinched for time here, I've got 3 burning questions, and I think they're really good ones. A nice, diverse, nice, eclectic, plate for you. So let's get to it now. 3 burning questions brought to you by Sullivan Papain, one of New York's best personal injury law firms. According to U.S. News and World Report, as general counsel to the New York City Firefighters Union, of course, for those more than 4 decades, and the proud law firm partner of St. John's Athletics, Sullivan Papain is New York's team. Fighting for New Yorkers for more than 100 years. Find Sullivan online at triallaw1.com. That's triallaw1.com. Remember the name, Sullivan Papain. All right, number 1. All right, go off the board a little bit here. Try to keep it nice and topical to some other stuff. And then we'll get some calls, get some tweets, blah, blah, blah. At age 42, what are realistic expectations for Aaron Rodgers and the Steelers in 2026? I mean, talk about waiting for the last second. I mean, the Steelers, you read some of the reports over the weekend, some of the people who cover the sport, like the Steelers were like a couple of days from saying, dude, go scratch. I mean, enough of this, man. Right now, they kind of still need him because their quarterback room is not good. What are the expectations? Well, I look at the Steelers as a team that is, a cut below, certainly a championship type of team. I think they're a playoff team like they were a year ago. They also got waxed 30-6 in the wild card to the Texans. Now, what do you get from Rodgers? I mean, if you look at the numbers last year, 24 touchdowns, 7 picks, 3,300 yards, and a rating of 95. Now, there was a point where a rating of 95 was really good. I mean, pretty much everybody's above 90 at this point, so that's kind of changed a little bit. And the year before with the Jets, even though the Jets were awful, 28 touchdowns, almost 4,000 yards. Here's the problem, and he's got Mike McCarthy back as his head coach. The Steelers last year offensively, they were 17th in yards per play, and they were 16th in points per play. Points per drive. It's a pop gun offense. How about this stat? This is actually amazing. I had to double check that this was right, and it is. 32.5% of the throws that Rodgers made last year did not cross the line of scrimmage. Think about that. Almost 33% of his throws were behind the line of scrimmage. So, Mike McCarthy's playbook is a little I like the hire, but a little antiquated at this point. Rodgers can't move, man. I mean, that's the biggest problem. His ability, and I've got great respect for Aaron. I always have as a player, and I like him more than I don't. I know he's a little wacky, whatever, but I think he's a straight shooter, and I'm a Rodgers fan. I've always said I'm not going to hide from that. I like Aaron Rodgers, but he just can't move. And his greatness was, number one, his accuracy and his arm strength and all that stuff. But like his ability to improvise is gone. So what are my expectations for Rodgers? Kind of a low-scoring offense for a team that, if they happen to win the North or are a wild card team, they're going to get bumped quick. They're not going anywhere. So that's number one. Number two, a little NBA. Mix it up here. Number two, how many more MVPs will Shai Gilgeous-Alexander win? All right. So he's still obviously in his absolute prime. He's 27. He's got 2. We went back-to-back. He's the 14th player in the history of the NBA to go back-to-back. Now, he also won by a landslide. He had 83 first-place votes. Jokic had 10, and Wembanyama had 5. All right, so that's going to start to change because I think Jokic will go in the other direction. Wembanyama will obviously go in the more favorable direction. So to me, to answer this, I'm going to give you a number, and I'll give it to you now. Then I'll give you the context as how I get there. I think he's going to wind up with 3 in his career. I think he can get one next year, although there is such a thing as voter fatigue. If he doesn't get it next year, and then if he doesn't get it next year and then didn't get it the next year, well, then he might just finish with 2 because then it's Wembanyama's league. I mean, and if he's healthy, he's going to win them all. I think there's a chance Wembanyama can challenge Kareem for 6. Kareem's got 6. MJ and Russell have 5. Wilt and LeBron have 4. And then you've got Bird, Magic, Jokic, Moses Malone, very underrated player. Moses had 3 or have 3. Steph, Duncan, some others have 2. Where's the competition now aside from Wembanyama? I mean, Luka Doncic is still young. He's 27. All right. Anthony Edwards, massive competition, I would say, for the next 5 years. Jokic is 31, but he's not built on speed, so he'll age gracefully and still be really good. Giannis is 31, probably going to be on a new team. I'm worried about that calf/Achilles. I'm going to say 3. I'm going to settle on that number. We're going to settle on 3. All right. Speaking of 3, number 3, in order, rank your 5 best MLB teams as of today. J-Rod, just quickly chime in from an audio perspective. Do you think I have the Yankees on here?
Maybe at number 4 or 5. Maybe. I'm gonna go yes. I'm gonna go yes.
You're gonna be wrong. You're gonna go wrong. I do not have the Yankees are not one of the 5 best teams in baseball right now. Why would I say that? They're not. So I could even quibble with the order. I'm gonna go Dodgers 1. No, I could easily go Braves 2, who are red hot. Dodgers 1. Ohtani starting to hit a little bit, heating up. Tucker's starting to wake up as well. 7 for his last 14. And the Dodgers plus run differential plus 94. I'm going to go Braves number 2. The Braves are plus 98. They've won 14 of 16 series. So they are just playing really good ball for a very long time. Number 3, I'm going to go with the Rays. The Rays are 16-5 at the Trop. They got back into the Dome, obviously, after the natural disaster. Their starting pitching has been phenomenal. How about this stat? No starter has allowed 3 runs or more in their last 22 starts collectively as a staff. How about that? That is absolutely amazing. Brewers. No, I don't know. now that I say this, like I almost want to flip it, but I'm going to stick with what I have. Brewers 4. The NL Central is a little tougher than usual. It's hard to really not respect, because I do respect the Brewers, but I can't really put a lot of energy behind them because it's just not going to win the World Series. I just don't see that, right? And I've got the Cubs number 5. Now, if I could have easily put the Cubs 4. I could have easily put the Braves 2, flipped 1, flipped the Dodgers to 2. But Michael Conforto, you think the Mets could use him? The Yankees could use him now. Hitting 345 with an 1,100 OPS. So that's where we are with those numbers. So again, in 1 through 5 here, I've got the Dodgers, I've got the Braves, I've got the Rays, I've got the Brewers, I've got the Cubs. In terms of teams to keep an eye on, Donnie Baseball, what have they won? I think it's 14 of 16, something like, or maybe even 16 of 18. The Phillies, I would imagine the Yankees would get their act together at some point, and they will be on this top 5. But they are not a top 5 team in baseball right now. Why would they be? Like, where is the justification? Like, I don't just give people stuff because they've got a reputation or they've got a name. I'm looking at this team. I'm looking at 2026, and every team I just mentioned is playing better than the Yankees in most of the facets of the game that matter. Most of those teams have better bullpens. Almost every one. Now, they don't have Judge, and they might not have Rice, but every one of those teams has a better lineup 1 through 9. That's indisputable. And I think a lot of those teams catch the baseball better as well. And, and without Max Fried, some of the Yankees starts early were phenomenal. And I still love the upside of this Yankee staff. I'm very bullish on that. You know that. You're going to get Fried back. You're going to get Cole back. Obviously, Schlittler he's the Cy Young right now. We'll see where LeGrand fits in. Weathers, obviously, didn't make the start over the weekend. He's been nasty. Will Warren's really good. Like, the Yankees pitching staff, at least rotation, is really good. But the other components, they don't deserve it. So there you go. 3 burning questions brought to you by my friends at Sullivan Papane. Remember the name, Sullivan Papane. Yeah, man. I mean, it's getting real. Let's slap this up. We'll do a little Knicks here. We got Dave Rothenberg coming up at 11. How about the schedule? How about the finals in terms of the East? I mean, come on. This week's going to be absolutely, the next couple of weeks going to be bonkers, man. I mean, I understand that if you're a Knicks fan of a certain age, you've just never seen a championship. I never saw them win, okay? So I get it, but I also separate myself from that stuff. Like, I am not a prisoner to teams' pasts, whether you're really good. I just don't give you the benefit of the doubt because previous teams were really good. Who are you now? What are you doing now? And right now, what the Knicks are doing, now, granted, they've had a long time off. Hopefully they can still play the same way. The Knicks are the best team in basketball right now. They have since that game 4 in the Hawks series, when they were down 2-1, they have mopped the floor with everybody. They've really reinvented themselves in terms of how they play. Massive credit to Mike Brown. Massive credit to Cat, although, the foul issues were starting to pop back in. Massive credit to Brunson, who, accepted, I don't want to say diminished role. That's nuts. I mean, he's still the man, but, pick and roll, let Cat kind of, run the offense a little bit. It's proven very effective. You dodged disaster with OG Anunoby's hamstring. Listen, if that series would have gone deeper with Philly, he was playing in that series. I had no worries about him being ready for this series, and here we are. And listen, the Knicks do get the benefit because the Cavaliers and the Pistons just played a pretty grueling series. They played last night. It ended late, and then boom, Cavaliers got to get on a plane, come to New York, and just, ratchet that energy up and have fresh legs for game 1. So the Knicks better win game 1. By the way, they're 7.5-point favorites, big number. And in terms of you can get me back on camera. Thank you, Jay. In terms of the series odds, the Knicks are minus 300 to win, and the Cavaliers are plus 240. Now, when you talk about series prices and stuff like that, I like the futures market in the NFL. I love doing like expected win total. That's fun. Number one, you have the bet. I mean, unless your team just absolutely crashes out early or whatever, but you can also win early. I love those season totals. It's fun because it's really basically it's a 5-month bet for the most part, right? Series, I don't love laying a lot of wood, like minus 300. All right. I mean, I'm gonna risk $300 to win 100. It doesn't seem like the most sensible thing to do. But the Knicks are going to win this series. The Knicks are going to be in the NBA Finals. and I don't take it for granted, and I don't think it's going to be sweep. I don't think it's going to be in 5. I think the Knicks will win in 6, but the Knicks, God forbid, outside of injury, the Knicks will, and you have to bake that in when you're laying some heavy coin if that's your thing. Knicks are going to win this series, and the Knicks are going to be in the NBA Finals. And it's been kind of easy to, not that real Knicks fans forgot how well they were playing, but the Knicks haven't been on the court for over a week. I mean, just put your mindset back to watching the Knicks, game 4, 5, 6 against the Hawks and all the games against the Sixers. Win, dismantling people, different types of opponents, different types of styles. Now, here's the thing, and this is a little and I know that you guys wrestle with this as well. By the way, Jay, we have over 300 live views right now, huh?
Hey, shout out the fan. No, we were at 370 at one point. So,
really? There you go.
Let's see what happens when Dave pops in.
Well, hopefully, Dave doesn't bring it down. I don't think it will.
No, I think that when you have 2 people on a screen, it typically does better. Like it typically helps retention, like viewer retention. We'll see.
Okay, all right, that's gonna be great. Dave's got. Can't wait to talk to Dave, but. That's good viewership. Now make sure that the likes are commensurate with the live views here.
Wait, I saw some guy on I saw a Knicks live channel. We've got 331 live viewers. We need 331 likes. There we go.
Okay, now that's your job. I don't want to beg too much, but you can do it for me every day. Yes,
fam,
think about this.
Drop a like, right? Drop a like and a sub if you're watching, and turn that notification bell on.
That's what I'm talking about. Very WWE, very gangster delivery right there. I love Jay. He's getting his personalities coming through. No, listen, that should be a little rule of the show here. If we've got 237 viewers at one point,
and these 237 likes.
Yeah, the number's going to keep growing and growing. If we have 312 watching, need 312 likes. I mean, what the hell's so hard about this? Click the freaking button. Let's go. Get the chats going. We'll get I don't know if we'll have a lot of time for calls today because we've got Dave coming up in right around 15 minutes or so. But yeah, I'm absolutely juiced, man. This is a great time of the year. And it's been a really good run here between the NFL draft and the NBA playoffs, which really start getting juicy in round 2. And then obviously beyond, the Masters was good.
Ooh, look up to that 340.
There we go. Yeah, but we don't have 341 likes. That's the whole point, I love the schedule. There's not a lot of messing around here. Game 1 Tuesday, game 2 Thursday, game 3 Saturday. Let's go. Let's just keep playing. Game 4 Monday, if necessary. Game 5 Wednesday, and then Friday, and then Sunday. And if there is a game 7, of course, it's going to be at MSG. Knicks have the home court. Now, I was a little torn with this here. As much, and it is funny how this happened, when the Pistons were just dogging the Knicks during the regular season and they owned them, they punked them, right? I mean, we all assume that for the Knicks to get to where they want to go, you're going to have to get through a tough, a physically tough and a mentally resolute Detroit Pistons team, right? And it didn't happen. But ironically here, and I'm not stunned that the Cavs won. Cavs have just more better players. They just do. And Kate Cunningham is still young. Some turnovers, some inefficient nights shooting the ball, whatever. And I think the Cavaliers did and we talked about this last week, doing a really good job running that second defender at him, giving up the ball, getting them out of whack, disrupting the half-court offense. When Tobias Harris is basically your second best player, that's just not a team that should be in the Eastern Conference Finals. And no disrespect to Harris. He's a really good pro. He's done a lot of good things in this league, but they got to get Cade some company, man. So it's crazy though, because I think the Pistons would be, and I'll put quotes around the word easier, relatively speaking. Nothing's easy at this point in the season, but the Pistons would have been an easier matchup, even though they had their number when the Knicks were playing a different brand, stylistically, not through Cat, et cetera, early than the Cavaliers, but home court advantage, kind of wrestling with that. So I'm curious because I want to make sure. I'm always going to be objective with the Knicks. That I want them to win, but I was also the same guy telling you all year that I didn't think the Knicks had the pieces to win. So I'm not going to be a fanboy here. I'm going to tell you what I see, and then if I see something different, I'm going to circle back and I'm going to recalibrate and kind of give you a new opinion, which I've done, and I've given a lot of people a lot of credit who have changed the way they look so far this year. But I need you. I want your opinion because you're a big. For those who are new to the show. J-Rod is great. He's got a great basketball mind. It's his favorite sport by a mile. Even though he's a Celtics guy, he understands it.
Speaking of, check the shirt.
Oh, nice, dude. I used to have those shirts when I was a kid. Those were big, the caricatures, right?
Yeah.
I think you really know the NBA. So give me a quick take on this series with the Knicks and the Cavs, but also if you think it's a better matchup, like if the Pistons would have been the better, more favorable matchup.
Originally, before the Cavs and Pistons series, I thought the Cavs were the better matchup for the Knicks. I just thought Cade is way too dynamic of a player. The Pistons are gritty. They're a tough team. They were the 1 seed. Honestly, I have put a lot of stock into that. Like, if you're the 1 seed in a conference, typically you go on to the NBA Finals. That's just how these past 10 years have gone.
Generally, yeah.
There's been a couple outliers, but usually. Now, I don't know. I now look at it, and I agree with you. I think the Pistons would have been the easier matchup just because Jalen Duren's a wash. Like, he's completely lost himself as a player.
Yep.
Cade's got to do everything, especially after a 7-game series where he did everything. Now, if you face up against the Pistons, this guy is super tired and super burnt out. But I'm still going Knicks in 5 in this series.
Knicks in 5.
I'm very confident in their ability. I think the Cavs and the Pistons just played a tough series. I think the Knicks right now look a whole hell of a lot better than both of those teams.
I think so too.
And
I do.
Jarrett Allen last night looked like the guy on my t-shirt from 2004. He looked like Shaquille O'Neal in 04. That is not going to happen against the Knicks at all. Mitch Robinson or Karl Anthony Towns. So I don't know. Harden's playing well. I think he'll have one really good game against the Knicks, but other than that, and that'll be the game the Cavs win. Other than that, he doesn't move me. They're
going to attack him defensively. He's a complete zero. I mean, he was pretty effective with some of the traps on Cade Cunningham in the series, but and Harden obviously is streaky and he's a good passer. Like, I'm not saying without value, but I mean, James Harden at this point of a playoff run, if he gets in, though, I know Mitchell, can beast and all that stuff, and some of the bigs will play or have played better. Yeah. Although I do think the Knicks bigs could or should kind of keep them somewhat in check. If the Knicks allow Harden to run rampant on them, then shame. That's not going to happen. I'm not saying he's not going to have a big throwback game. Harden's not going to average like 28, 29 and shoot like efficiently. I just don't see it.
No,
I
think Josh Hart's got him. Like,
he's
going to be aggressive
and Bridges
with
too.
him.
And Bridges and OG. I think that the Knicks' defensive versatility, the Knicks' depth, and the Cavaliers have better depth than the Pistons. That's for sure. Like, we know that. But I do think, I don't want to go nuts and say it's a must win. That sounds stupid. But to me, tomorrow night is pretty much paramount to me for the Knicks to win this fairly fast in a fairly quick manner, because you'd have to think the Cavs are tired. Now, how do we measure up the rust versus the fatigue? I don't know. Playing at home is obviously going to help the Knicks if they are a little rusty. Kind of those fans just pop them right back in. There'll be no Cavs fans there. I'm not worried about that. Never worried about that at the Garden. Maybe 1%, whatever. But it's going to be interesting. And then I'm curious what your opinion was. One of our burning questions when Shea
on the Shea.
What do you think about that?
I'm going to say 0 more MVPs.
0.
And I think the 1 is fair. I think if it were to happen, it would be 2 seasons from now. I think, and don't get me wrong, dude, Shea is dynamic. He is elite. He is as good as it gets.
Phenomenal.
Jokic. But he's not the kind of player to me who has their grip on the league so tightly that they could be a 3 back-to-back MVP. He doesn't hit me as like a Larry Bird, a Johnson, a Jordan. I don't even think LeBron did 3 back-to-back MVPs, did he?
No, I don't think he did. He's got 4 total.
Yeah.
No, I don't think so.
I don't think he did 3 back-to-back MVPs. I just don't see Shea Gilgeous-Alexander in that breadth of players, in that 3-time back-to-back MVP.
All right. Now, I don't necessarily disagree with you, but are we being unfair to SGA? He's already a champion. He could be a 2-time champion.
He
could be a 2-time champion. He's got back-to-back MVP awards. Only 14 players in the history of the NBA have gone back-to-back. See, I think he's going to get another one, but it's got to be fast. So there's 2 things at play here. We've seen this in all sports, whether it's Cy Young's, MVPs, particularly in the NBA. Kobe, like Steve Nash winning the MVP over Kobe that year was an absolute joke. And Steve Nash was great, but come on, man. There is such a thing as voter fatigue. It happens. They just want something new. They want something different. Jokic, because he's a below the rim guy, he's going to age gracefully is an odd word to use because he's, but gracefully for his style.
Yeah.
So he'll be in the mix for a couple of more years. Anthony Edwards is just getting going here. Luke is only 27. Who else?
He has to get
Wembanyama. See, Wemby's the guy.
That's why I not fear, but that's why Wembanyama and Luka are my two guys for why I don't think SGA will get another one. Just because, dude, there has to be a season where Luka gets an MVP. I mean, if he finishes his career with 0, and trust me, he's got a long way to go. He's still got like 5 or 6 seasons where he does win an MVP.
I agree. He's 27.
But
true.
If he finishes his career without an MVP, that will just be jarring. That would be a shocker, man. And not to say that he certainly has deserved one along the way. He definitely is not.
No.
But man, if next season Luka would be my pick, I think, for MVP, just because it's got to happen.
And by the way, LeBron's he's going to be gone.
Yeah.
So now it's
your roster might be able to be a little better, maybe fit it more. I mean, not that LeBron James isn't a great player. Hold on,
I know what you're saying.
But like, if the roster's more kitted up with corner shooters, 3-and-D guys, a more dynamic athletic center than DeAndre Ayton, you know, that benefits Luka Doncic as a player more. And so I think he'd get the MVP. But if Wembanyama wins it next season, watch out. He's got it for a while. He might win 3
Well, but here's the one thing also needs to be said about Doncic is we're talking about this here. Doncic has been his own worst enemy. I mean, half the time he's not in shape, and he's got soft tissue issues because he's not in shape. So if he gets his act together and he comes back and his body's actually changed and he's tightened himself up and he's thin. Yeah, I mean, thin relative to his body type. I mean, can you have a little more professional pride? Yeah. I mean, every year the guy gets jacked up. Come on.
It's tough. And to say that, like, you would believe that would happen, it's not, it's not something you can put your money on. You can't really put your money on saying, I really believe Luka Doncic is going to come next season in shape, looking great, because we say this every offseason. We say that every season. And game 1 of the season, you see his body, you go, oh, he looks a little tougher this season. And then as it kind of wanes on, you go, same Luka.
And I'm a big fan. By the way, same Luke is an amazing player. But
I'm a big fan.
Yeah, me too. To be a transcendent old-timer, and he's kind of one anyway, but you need that validation with an MVP, especially in the NBA. Got to get his act together physically. This is interesting. At DRod123, will the Knicks be the 2024 Yankees? Well, easy road to the finals and get exposed by a better team in the other division. I mean, it's possible. And it's also impossible to, take that 2024 Yankee team and try to compare it to different sports. To try to do it loosely, who do I think is better? I think the Knicks are better. I mean, I really do. I mean, because think about Soto and Judge covered up so many issues that are stunningly still there for the Yankees, right? Whereas the Knicks, there's not much of a hole. I mean, they've got shooters, they've got depth, they've got a superstar, or even if it's a tick below, but big-time star closer in Brunson. You've got an incredibly gifted big who can pass and score and shoot, and who's also very efficient. You got 2 wings who could D it up and shoot. You got a little microwave-type guard off the bench in Deuce, who, as we saw in the Sixers series, when he hit 5 threes that game, he could get hot. He can get loose from outside. I guess the only thing that is preventing, and I get it, number one, you got to win this series, number one. Number two, the Thunder and even the Spurs, and I know the Knicks played pretty well against the Spurs, but that would be a different level of resistance for sure. But Mike Brown's never won a championship. That doesn't mean that he can't cut through this year and change that narrative. Brunson doesn't have, until you, especially in the NBA, until you become a champion, it's a bit of it's just a leap of faith to say that I think that this guy's a champion or this team will be champions. Nobody's won. I mean, OG won, but it was a spare piece on that team. Let me see here. What else we got? What we got? Something about J-Rod here? What we got here? At Telly Lot 77, J-Rod, we see you, bro.
Yeah, I was cracking up at this, bro.
I know. J-Rod trying to increase that profile, which I got no problem with. J-Rod's a big part of the show. You know, J-Rod knows he's got a license to talk and have, and J-Rod also knows when J-Rod stops producing, we got to zap him and we got to put him in the bathroom. Got to put him in the bathroom.
All right.
What else we got?
We also got Dave's in studio. So whenever seemingly you're ready. I don't know if let me just.
I don't see. You take care of that, and you just give me a heads up. We'll get Dave up in a second. Looking forward to this. What else do we have here? I don't see Met fans crying. Oh, Met fans crying in the chat. Look at our sons crying. Met fans. I mean, listen. One of the first things that I said here is that when you lose the Subway Series, you just got to lay out for a couple of days. You just have to. You sound like a child if you're a Yankee fan, 1986, or, Soto doesn't look happy, or Pete, or Stearns, or 27 championship. Just shut up. You lost the weekend series. You looked awful. Now the Mets didn't look great dropping pop-ups. I get it, but the Mets won. And that is not many rules in the Subway Series, but rule number one is whomever wins the series, you got the microphone. You got the platform. All right. Speaking of a microphone, this gentleman's got one every morning.
One sec. He's just got to refresh the page.
Oh, what an easy. Come on, what a professional transition too. You kill it. Hopefully this is not a foreshadow of my conversation with Dave. Let me know when we have Dave here. It's going to be interesting, man, because one of the things I said before about Dave is that I've always thought he's really, really good. I told the story last week when I knew we were going to have him on. I texted my guy, Timmy McCarthy, who used to run ESPN Radio for a long time. I think I was coming back from playing golf, and it was one of the first times I heard Dave, and I think it was on the weekend. And I'm like, dude, this guy's good. Like, this guy's got passion. This guy's got fire. This guy knows his stuff. And you got to get him a real slot, and I'm not saying that that's why he got the slot, because I told him. But obviously Tim listened, and they listened. And he's doing his thing, and I believe we have him. I just want to make sure here, Jay, we good or no?
Not yet. Just a sec. He's just got to refresh the site, and then we'll be good.
And what is he on a BlackBerry? I mean, come on here, Rothenberg. I see his hands. I know. By the way, some of this stuff is tricky, man. Some of this stuff is tricky.
Yeah, sometimes it just jumps out. But here,
although I am surprised if you think about all the guests that I've had, right? Michael K does this stuff all the time because he's on the road with the Yankees doing a show. Patino is actually really good with technology. He's a very witty, funny tweeter as well. Everybody. The guy that I thought was going to have the most issue was Beningo.
I know. Dude, that was funny.
I thought I'd see like Joe like this, like looking up to the camera like this, like, bro, we on, bro, we on? Are we on?
Honestly, it went out cleaner than I thought with Joe. Like he had that little closeness to the cam, but it was all good.
By the way, check this out real fast. I think we can get Dave up, but I wanted to read this here.
Yeah, we're ready whenever.
I got you. So I told you, how A-Rod texted over the weekend. He's like, dude, I'm watching the interview with Joe. I've never met Joe. I love Joe. I'd love to get together and play golf, blah, blah, blah. Right. So I put us on a stream, myself, Alex, and Joe. And gents, what's going on, boys? Blah, blah, blah. Alex, meet Joe. Joe, meet Alex. We'd love to get out, do a little golf, blah, blah, blah. And Alex specifically said, make sure you tell him that I'm a huge fan of of Joe, right? So I let Joe know that, right? And Joe, I think that Joe wrote that I think that Joe thought he was writing just back to me. He goes, bro, I'm reading word for word. Bro, are you actually telling me that A-Rod's a big fan of me? Are you serious? Bro, is this actually A-Rod's number? Bro, I love A-Rod. Joe, he's on the chat.
That's incredible.
I know. So we'll do that at some point. All right. I believe we have him. Yes, we do. Let's get into it. So this is be a lot of fun. Does a great job, man. Wow, look at that setup, dude. ESPN must be paying pretty well. Is he at home or is he still at ESPN?
So I can't hear anything at all.
Uh-oh.
I had you fine when you and Jared were together. Now you brought me in here, and I hear absolutely nothing.
Okay, J-Rod, get on top
real
of that,
quick,
buddy.
Text him just you have his number, right? Text him, just try refreshing, and then let me know in the chat when you can hear us.
All right. I mean, this is come on here, Jay. What do you want me to do here? Text him what?
Just
try refreshing.
Yeah. Try refreshing, and then when you can hear us, just text me in the chat that you can hear us.
Oh boy, when you can hear us, comma, Even when I'm sending text, I got to like be grammatically correct. It drives me nuts. Text us in chat, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Like in the private chat.
And yeah, he's gonna be on the stream, right? In private chat. All right. Hopefully this will get done.
Classic.
Yeah. I mean, listen, this I'll tell you, this is an example. This is where I've learned, right? I think Dave's very similarly built too. Like when I was younger and like something would go wrong, I'd get all worked up. I'd get all tense. I'd get angry. I mean, not angry strong, but I would definitely get worked up. And this is the more mature me there, J-Rod. This is what happens.
Yep.
It's a technical issue. It's not a big deal. He goes, I am. Hang on. All right, we'll get him. Yeah, listen, you got to roll with the punches. It's technology. It's the new world. Big damn deal. We'll get him up. I appreciate just finished up his show there. DiPietro seems like a good guy, too. DiPietro's out of his mind. I could see DiPietro in the locker room being an absolute, like a guy that you would just love playing with, man. Fun going out with, crazy. Yeah.
All right. Can you hear us now, Dave?
I hear you now. When you leave, Jared, for some reason, that's where we run into issues. So
okay, so let me try leaving real quick and then seeing if you.
Dave, you got
hear nothing.
Oh no!
Wait, this is so strange.
Now I still hear nothing.
Yeah. Oh, now
when you leave that I have the issue.
So, but what about when he comes back though?
No, it's probably not working.
I can't hear you guys at all. I'm gonna
Oh man,
this is rough.
That's my maturity here now.
I mean, my thing would be maybe he's got to join from a different device. Dave, if you're hearing me, you may have to join from a different device.
This is terrific.
This is
what I was hoping is we would run into technical difficulties. What do you want me to go on my phone?
Yes.
Yeah. Try your phone. Try your phone.
That would be great if you could do your phone and toss it.
I was hopeful for this. All right. Let me try my phone.
Game one started getting. Fucking put anything up that. Doesn't matter what the text says. BT, you suck. You're an idiot. Get the chat up here. Give me something. Game one, I get the feeling the Cavs will win and we end up winning in 5. I would say if the Cavaliers were to win the first game, which I don't think that they will, then I do not think that the Knicks would win in 5. I think them winning in 5 is paramount that they win tomorrow, or certainly connected to them winning tomorrow. If they were to lose tomorrow, and again, big favorites, 7.5 point, dogs, the Cavs are on the road, then I think it's going to be 6. But we'll see. We get Dave fired up here. DNR needs to have BT on the show on a weekly basis. I mean, yeah. If they're paying, I'm coming to discuss Knicks, Mets, and Jets. Sergi V 0506. This is awesome. Yeah, wait. I mean, hopefully the interview's this good. I mean, Dave is hanging tough. Like, listen, that is a guy who is in the trenches right now. He is a pure content radio guy. He understands it. He's not tapping out. He is fired up. He's trying to make it happen. Oh my God. Yeah. I mean, this is hilarious. Oh yeah, absolutely. This would Sal be all over about it at this point? You know what? He probably would.
Dude, he might be.
Yeah, he probably would be. I told you, Sal. We and Sal were texting the other day about getting out and playing golf. So I got to get Sal back on the show.
We should be good.
By the way, I'm not getting Sal on the show until the Mets lose a couple of games. Because if you think I'm bringing Sal on the show now after the Mets won, and I think he tweeted yesterday that it was the best win in 30, one of the best wins in 30 years for the Mets.
Gosh.
I don't know if he meant Subway Series. Well, yeah, obviously 30 years he would have. I gotta let the Mets cool off a little bit before I get crazy Sal coming in trying to torment me with his Met propaganda. All right. I mean, I don't have any more times I can ask here, Jay. You tell me, buddy. Do we have him?
Do we have you?
I'm here. You hear me?
Yes.
I hear you.
I hear you guys. This is one of the highlights of my life. Let's go.
Okay, but can you still hear me? Because J-Rod's gone.
I hear you fine.
Yes.
We're great. It's working.
Nice.
I don't know why you're full body with me and only the face of you, but I guess we'll do what we can do.
I don't know. Maybe you have a better body than me, man. I
don't think that's true. I think that's highly inaccurate.
How you doing, buddy? Welcome to the show.
I'm great.
Let me at least give you a proper introduction, man. Obviously, Dave Rothenberg, and I said I heard you a long time ago. Love your style. I think we're kind of cut from the same piece of the cloth. Passionate, unapologetic, your stuff, really good morning show. So it's great to have you on, buddy. Welcome to the show.
Well, thanks for having me. I'm a big fan of this project that you're working on. I mean, it's a rough industry. You know it as well as I do. We've all been through this stuff. So the fact that you started this on your own, I love it. Anyway, I can support. And I think most decent humans would also try to support. So I'm happy to join the show today.
Thank you, man. Thank you, dude. So, it's funny. We want to get into a lot of things here, but the one thing, and I don't know about you, I don't know this about you at all. I feel like every prominent voice in New York, and excluding the ex-athletes, obviously Rick and Tiki and Boomer, those of us who had to work our way up. I don't know much about your path. Like, where were you in Charlotte? Let's hear it.
Yeah. So I interned at FAN. I'm from Long Island.
Yeah.
Interned at FAN back, oh my God, early 90s.
Wow.
Right?
Okay.
Mike and the Mad Dog, Beningo was doing overnight, so I interned on his show. Joan Chin, I'm sure you remember her, right? When she was there, she was a board op. She and I became real friendly. And I remember I finished the internship, and Eric Spitz, great guy, right? Now he's kind of running Sirius. He said, listen, we'd like to bring you on. I knew Sweeney Murdy and Carlin was there, right? So we'd like to bring you on. I said, to do what? Because I'm going to dominate the sports radio world, right? We'd like to bring you on to cut tape.
Oof.
Like, cut tape.
Yeah.
Do you know who you're talking to? And he's like, yeah, it's cut tape. And then we don't know. I was like, listen, I don't think that's for me. I don't want to cut tape, right? One of the grievous mistakes that I could ever possibly have made. So I said, no, thank you. And then struggled to find my way to any relevancy in this industry at all, right? So then I take a job as an assistant media buyer in New York City.
Oh.
Do you want like the real, like the full story? Or
I do.
Right,
I want to I don't think people know enough about it. You. I want to hear the story, man. We got time.
So I'm an assistant media buyer in New York City, and this is in the mid 90s, right?
Okay.
And there's a book called the SRDS, which is like the Standard Radio Directory.
Yeah.
There's no, Brandon, there's really no internet. There's no way to contact all these stations. So what am I supposed to do? So on weekends, I would bring home this massive, massive book and go through it. And any station that did sports, I would send an email to, or I'd actually physically mail a demo tape. Finally, months later, I get a response from a station in Greenwich, Connecticut.
Okay.
WGCH in Greenwich, Connecticut. They respond, hey, we got your stuff. Sounds great. Now, I said no to FAN. I now go into WGCH as a guy that's going to run the board for the high school football games of both Westchester and Greenwich, Connecticut.
I mean, almost as bad a move as Stearns this offseason. That's a horrendous decision, Dave.
It was my Jorge Polanco moment, right? My Lewis Robert moment. So, yeah, disastrous. But I do well there. I go from guy that works once a week, twice a week, 4 times a week, assistant sports director. But even so, you're at WGCH in Greenwich, which is not exactly a claim to fame. And then I reach out to Steve Cohen, who's at Sirius, so I'm sure you know at the time. And he's come on in. Let's see what you got. And I started to work the NFL Network, right, when they literally just launched the NFL channel at Sirius. So I'm working there and part-time capacity. And I get an offer from Cablevision Television, Long Island, to produce TV. So now I'm kind of at a crossroads. Do I want to keep doing the stuff at Sirius, or do I want to go to, Long Island Cablevision, maybe go out of the radio field more into TV? So I do that. I'm doing TV, couple of years, going great. They let me do some on-air, local stuff, but mostly in a production role. And there's a station in Raleigh, North Carolina, which is launching on the FM signal, and send my stuff there. They're interested. They potentially want me. They hire me. I'm going to do evenings and updates on the afternoon show.
But real quick, is that DJ Stout? Is that the same station as DJ Stout or no?
I think that's Charlotte. This is Raleigh.
It is. You're right. That's right. That's true. Okay.
This is Raleigh.
Okay.
So I go there, do afternoon updates and evening show, which was around the ACC, which is funny because I don't even know the ACC all that well. But I'm doing this foreigner is doing inside and around the ACC. It does well enough. One of the morning guys leaves. I fill in with, turns out, and you might know the name, Mike Maniscalco. Mike Maniscalco.
I don't know him. I know the name. I don't know him.
Is now the voice of the Canes on TV. So Mike and I are doing mornings. Great. The highest numbers they've ever seen. We're doing amazing. Couldn't be better. We're not an ESPN affiliate. We become an ESPN affiliate. And when you become an ESPN affiliate at that time, what happens? You have to pick up Mike and Mike. So my successful morning show gets bounced. Now I'm out unemployed. So now I become the voice And my wife had a good job down in Raleigh.
Oh, so you're married at this point?
Married.
Got it.
One child, maybe the second, either on the way or thereabouts. So, then at that point, my wife's like, I don't want to go. I have a great job. I'm not leaving Raleigh. I'm like, great. Now, how many jobs are there in Raleigh? So I get a job as the voice of the Campbell Camels, which the guys on my show make fun of. But Campbell's like, their football is decent, their basketball is okay, their baseball is great. Like
I played at Campbell when I was at Mare. I know your son's playing ball. We'll talk about him after for sure.
Yep.
He just started his collegiate career, which is great. Ben, when I was at Marist, we would go down and we would play UNC and get destroyed, and Duke and get whacked. And by Campbell, we can compete with. So we never beat them, but I know Campbell well.
They were really good.
I think the colors are like black and orange, if I'm not mistaken, something like that.
Correct.
Yeah,
but it's in the middle of nowhere.
Yes.
Like it's Bowie's Creek, North Carolina, middle of nowhere. But that went well, and I'm continuing that. And then a program director by the name of Justin Craig, who I'm sure you're familiar with.
Yeah, he basically fired me.
Great. Well, I'm sorry to bring up those memories, but he's a good guy.
Yeah.
So he gets the job in New York. He's from Chicago. He's out there, comes to New York, brand new, and we had a mutual friend. So my friend says, when you're up in New York next time, you should sit with Justin. So I sit with Justin. He's like, by the end of our conversation, sends me a text. Listen, I really like what you're about. Would you like to host 7 to 9 a.m. on Sunday morning? Sure. But I'm going to be back in North Carolina at that point, Justin. Fine. Technology, we can make that work. So I do the show 7 to 9, Sunday morning. Show finishes. Get a text from him. I enjoyed that. Would you like to do next Sunday, 7 to 9? Sure. Next Sunday, 7 to 9. How about next? Sure. 4 weeks, 6 weeks, 8 weeks. I know this is hard to imagine. This is when the Jets actually had a relevant, good football team.
Oh, and the glory days.
They went to back-to-back AFC championship games. This is at the start of the second AFC championship game run. So he says, will you do overnights instead of a national overnight? Will you do a local Jets overnight show all week leading up to this game? Sure. They beat the Patriots. Will you do it again leading up to the Steelers? Sure. Will you do Saturday? Sure. So, I mean, listen, to give kids, and you know this as well, that are trying to break into this business, you never say no. I said yes to everything, everything he asked me to do. And it led to eventually Stephen A was doing evenings, but Stephen A was becoming Stephen A.
Yes.
So he's gonna be gone. He's going to be off doing a million other things. When Stephen A's gone doing these things, would you be his fill-in? Yes. So now I'm doing weekends and filling in for Stephen A, which is 2-3 times a week. And then it gets to the point in September of 11, which is now almost 15 years ago. If you really want to make a run here, you got to move back to New York. And I said, done. So we came up, moved to New York. I did evenings, 7 to 10. Then I did 7 to midnight. I did days with Rucco.
Were you doing primarily solo outside of with Rucco? See, just not to interrupt the flow, because I love hearing the path, but it's interesting because to me, I did a lot of solo work when I was coming up as well. I did solo middays in Detroit in the early 2000s. I did a lot of stuff on 1050. So some stuff with Stephen A as well, but primarily solo before I was with Jody Mack. And when you do a lot of solo work, right? I don't know if you struggle with this. Part of it is your road was very tough, as you just outlined, as was mine. Okay.
Yeah.
And when you fight and you scrap and you claw for just a microphone, and you're used to doing it by yourself, not that you don't want to be a good teammate, but it's a process to learn how to do a show with somebody else, because you always feel like you got to prove yourself. Did you go through that a little bit?
I mean, Rucco was Rucco was like I was in Raleigh doing the morning show with Maniscalco, and we got along great. He was very easy. We played off each other. Then you get into this routine of doing a solo show for years. And I was doing, Brandon, 5-hour shows, 7 to midnight, and we would go to break, and they'd be like, all right, we got 45 seconds of commercials. We'll be right back. I was like, 45? What?
I'm dying.
By the time you finish, you get to midnight, literally you're absolutely exhausted. You're shot. You have nothing left. So then Rucco and I did the show in middays, and I mean, it's certainly an adjustment, but I don't remember it to be an adjustment to the point where it was a struggle. Like, we got along great. We're still really good friends. He's a great guy.
Yes.
He's an easy guy to work with. He's a good sports guy. And then that went away, and I wound up doing, and we kind of flipped roles a couple times. I did kind of updates on the K show and was the third guy on the K show.
Mm-hmm.
And then I would go, Colin Cowherd was still in the morning, so I would kind of localize that show.
I remember
And then-
all those little. It was like jumping through hoops with
Yes.
the localization, which used to drive me nuts.
Mhm.
Like, oh my god, like
Right.
here we are back in the day trying to. Not that we ever beat them. I mean, I know K did, but I'm talking about the early days, FAN,
Sure.
right, of 1050, where we're just trying to carve out some territory. We got a shit signal. They got the legacy station, Mike and Chris, just behemoth, Craig and Boomer, and just monsters, right? And we. We've got Mike and Mike, and like great show, great national respect, right?
But still a national show.
Exactly. Colin, smart, doing well now. He's made a ton of money. He's one of the best out there, I think. Smart dude.
But a national show.
National show. And
Yeah.
we're trying to jump in during a commercial break to do 2 minutes on the Jets. I'm like, we're not going to win this way. Like we got to figure shit out here.
Right.
And way
right.
after I left is when you guys kind of had a different philosophy, which has been better for the station.
I think so. So then the midday show gets blown up, and I wind up back at nights, which I guess is a demotion, but still, I mean, you know this. If you're working full time in this industry,
Yep.
in New York, as much of a demotion as maybe it is, it's still pretty awesome.
I agree.
So
I agree.
then, I know this is a very long story, and I apologize, but
It's
you
all
wanted
good,
it.
man.
So 12 to 3 is 12 to 3. Maybe it's 10 to 1 is Han, Rick,
Yep.
and Chris Canty.
Oh yeah, I forgot about
So,
Canty. That's
yeah.
right. Yep.
So I guess the Knicks, with coupled with that midday show, was becoming too much for Han.
Mhm.
So they approached me. Would you be willing to kind of switch roles with Han, where you do middays with Canty and Rick, and Han moves to the evenings with in your spot? Am I willing to do 10 to 1?
Yeah.
Well, yeah, okay. So I do that, and we do very well, very successful. That's when we had ratings at the station, right? And we had weeks where we were 2. We had books where we were 4 or 5. We did really well. But in ESPN's ever evolving, continuous shifting of the ways, we went from 10 to 1 to 9 to 11 because Greeny got, you know how Greeny somehow got involved, and then something else happened, and they came to us over the pandemic and said, listen, we can get the first 2 hours of morning drive, the 6 and 7 o'clock hour. We can take over the 5 o'clock hour. Would you guys do 5 to 8? We're like, well, it's early, but we are home. Yeah, you know what? We'll do it. So the 3 of us start the 5 to 8, and we did really well, numbers wise, following and allegiance, really well. We did that for, I don't know, I'm making it up, 2, maybe 3 years, and then Canty left to go to the network, and then it's just me and Rick.
Yeah.
And about 4 or 5 months after it's just me and Rick, they're like, we figured out a way we can get full local mornings.
Now it's go time there. Now it's
that's
go
about
time now.
That's about, I don't know, 4 years ago, and it's just been a great run. It's been a phenomenal run. We've done really well.
Yep.
Everyone's pleased with the show. Rick's easy to work with. My producers, RJ and Ray, are the best in the business. And
I know Ray. I
sensational.
like Ray. I don't know RJ that well. I know Ray because I was
Great guy.
Dallas Cowboy.
Yeah.
He works his ass off, dude. Between the Rangers and the Knicks, and he is a hustler. Shout out to him. All right, so here's one thing that really jumps out to me about you, right? And it's even more amplified now that I just got your entire path here. You, to me, and I definitely have this characteristic as well, you don't take anything for granted. Like I'm not going to name names, but there are some non-athletes, all right, in our city who have shows and have had shows for a long time. They kind of take things for granted a little bit, right? They've been doing it for a long time, success, whatever it might be. I feel like you and me are almost like working under the mentality of it took so long to get here that I'm not letting now. I'm doing something unconventional, which I'm fine with, but up until I left the fan and now doing this, I'm like, you're not taking shit. Like, this is my show and this is my microphone and no one's going to outwork me. It's subjective. So the talent evaluation, some people might think somebody's better than me, better than you. That's great. That's all part of the world that we live in, right? But you bring this almost like and this is a great compliment to you, man. I really mean this, like this unflappable and unwavering desire to bring it every day. And that is not as easy as some people think.
It's not easy, and I take it as a compliment. I appreciate it. And what people don't realize, you do, but if you're in a fight with your wife, nobody gives a crap.
Yep.
If you're exhausted because you have a flu or a bug or something, you don't want to take the day off, nobody cares.
Tough.
If your kid is sick, in the house, nobody gives a shit, right? Like you have to bring it every day. And what we brought to our show is kind of like a team, and led by Rick, because this is his background, like a team mentality, a locker room mentality of you're going to bring it every day. And when we go to commercial, if you want to be like, oh my God, my head is killing me and I'm so exhausted and my wife's impossible, fine. But when the light is on, you're going to bring it to the best of your ability. So I think I have that. I think he helps bring that out in me as well. And I think the guys, like, morning drive is brutal, dude. I mean, I take nothing for granted. I love doing it. To wake up at 4 o'clock in the morning is it's bordering cruel. It's really, really difficult. And it's not like, and you've been here, we've all been here, an office job, you wake up, you're like, all right, I have a light day. I'm going to kind of put my head down. I'm going to half-ass it through. No, you have to be on, and you have to be on 100% all the time. So it's not easy to do. And it would be even more difficult if Ray, who who's a great guy, and RJ, who's equally great, and Rick, were not awesome. They're awesome, and we have a great time doing the show.
That is great, man. So when you're young, right? Let's go back to, like say, whether it's age 9 through like 12 or 13, right? There are a lot of people, again, the non-athletes who do what we do. They just grew up and they consumed all the audio and the radio, and they just wanted to be the next Mike and Chris, or they were more of an athletic background, but nowhere good enough to be a pro.
Right.
And it was like, I can't envision a life without sports, which is more my path, even though I fell asleep to the fan every night. Like, I wanted to be Don Mattingly more than I wanted to be Mike and Chris. What were your early aspirations? Was it to be a player? In as crazy as it sounds now, because as two guys who never came close to making it.
Right.
What were you like when you were 10, 11 years old?
So I have 2 older brothers, both of the most average, even below average athletic ability. But one's 9 years older than me, and one's 11 years older than me.
Oh, so they probably beat the shit out of you, man.
So they beat the crap out of me. And secondarily, when you are 5 playing with 14 and 16-year-olds, you're going to become good. You're going to become tough, and you're going to become good. So up until the point where I was like 11, I was an unbelievable athlete. I know right now you're like, you?
No. What sport? Primarily baseball?
No, I was scared once they started throwing the ball hard. Soccer I was really good at. Basketball I was really good at a good hand. I mean, again, 11 years old. The one sport that I continuously played throughout high school and could have played college, but it was just I had enough, was I was a tennis player in high school. I
knew that. I was
a really good tennis player in high school, and I loved it. And I mean, I kind of regret a little bit not pushing through and playing in college, but it was so much and it was endless, and I gave it up. So that was it. But no, I mean, you talk about sports talk. I even predate Mike and Chris. I love the Fan. I remember listening to the Fan from the time I was, I think 87 it launched, right? So I'm 13, 14, right in that range. Yeah. I used to listen and call as a child to 77 WABC Art Russ Jr.
Did you really?
Yes, as a child. And he one time had Lawrence Taylor on.
Yeah.
And Lawrence Taylor is you're Mattingly, that's the guy. That's Lawrence Taylor, just the guy. He comes up. I'm 8 years old. I watched him play. It was the greatest thing I've ever seen. I couldn't believe that a human could do that. The '82 Thanksgiving game, and I called as like a 9 or 10-year-old to Art Roast Jr. For some way, they let me on the air.
I was going to say, who's producing the show?
Some guy that's probably not producing radio anymore. Yeah, they let me on the air, and I asked Lawrence Taylor a question. It was like one of the proudest moments I'd ever had. Yeah, but so I always wanted to do sports. And the funny thing is, I've achieved a pretty good, name and reputation and success in this industry. And all the time people say, well, what do you want to do? Like eventually no, this is what I want to do. I don't want to go, I don't want to do play-by-play for this team. I don't want to, go to TV and do updates at 11 o'clock on the news or host sports. Like, this is what I want to do. Morning drive, afternoon drive, have my voice heard as one of the New York sports voices is what I want to do.
That's well said. I totally get it all. But having said that, like, why no interest in TV? I don't mean in place of the, but why not on SNY? Like, I was there a million years ago, and like, Moose was doing stuff. He's back now. Sal does a lot of TV. JJ, well, I know Grassa. I don't, Dan, who I believe is great. Like, he does a lot of stuff. Like, but I never see you on TV, and I don't mean in lieu of the radio, but why not get some more money?
I will. I'm not opposed to it. I don't know. It just hasn't happened, hasn't materialized. I would do it if they reached out. Actually, Chris Farina at SNY is a really good friend of mine. If you know him, we used to work at Cablevision together.
Okay.
So I could. It's just, I mean, partly is lazy, I guess. It's like I got to go from Westchester all the way downtown, a night show, then all the way back, then I don't know. It's lazy. And I'm an old man now. I'm 53 years old. So
you're a year older than me. Do you feel 53 or what?
Sometimes. Sometimes I don't, and then sometimes I do. I don't act 53, that's for sure. But do I physically feel it at times? Yeah, physically feel it at times. Yes.
Yeah, every time I hear you guys talking about pickleball, I'm like, watch that Achilles, man. I ruptured mine playing hoops, and that's an old, broken down athlete disease, or situation. Watch that Achilles, man.
You popped your Achilles?
I did, playing hoops. Yeah.
Supposed to be a horrendous injury.
It was the fucking word. I was shooting a 3, right? I was in my early 30s, a long time ago. I was still at 1050, right? Still in really good shape. And I was playing, they had this league called the Urban Men's Professional League, right? And like the A level is like a lot of guys who played in the Big East, which, I don't mean like Ryan Gomes from Providence, but like, seventh man. And like, I wasn't playing in that division. I was in the next division, right? And we were good, man. Like, I was nowhere near the best on the team. I started. We were pretty much the only white team in the league. A couple of kids who could really shoot, right? Like Fredette kind of guys. And we were all right. And I remember rising up for 3. And Dave, it was crazy. Like, I'm shooting a 3, and there was 2 refs. One, I guess, on the other side, and one.
And you thought someone kicked you, right? That's what everyone says. Everyone says they felt they got kicked in the leg. Yep.
I absolutely thought that. But what I first thought, because I don't know if it I guess it ruptured when I went up, I guess, right? And I wasn't getting too far off the ground, but I could shoot. And I see the ref. I'm like, my first instinct was, oh, good, I got fouled. I got 3 shots coming. But in a millisecond. And then I look at the ref, and he's there with the whistle in his mouth, just like this. Meaning he's not blowing the whistle. I'm like, what the fuck? And then bang, hit the floor. I'm like, holy shit. So I'm on one end of the court, and I was determined, like, I'm getting off this. I'm standing up, and I'm getting off this court. No one's carrying me. I'm walking off, right? I couldn't. I actually, from the 3-point line where I fell, crawling to the other baseline in an attempt to stand, I could not stand. It was worse, dude. It's such a bad. And I was living on the 4th floor in a pre-war building walk-up on the Upper West Side. Dave, I'm throwing my crutches up the stairs. Dude, it was hellacious. So the point is, stretch the Achilles before you get that.
I appreciate that. Because I don't want to follow in those footsteps of yours. No,
don't. All right. So what's going on with Jerry, dude? What is the origin of this? I don't know that it's a beef, but there's a little disconnect.
I don't know, man. It's a tremendous immaturity, I think, from Jerry. And I'll explain why. Because he's taken exception, and it's fair. Take exception. What I said looks to be very wrong, but he won't relent, A. And B, I stand by what I said at the time. So the Knicks played Detroit for a 3rd time this year. And if you remember that game, I think they had no Duren, they had no Isaiah Stewart. The Knicks had a full complement of their rotation, and they had days off leading up to that game. And it was at the Garden. And everyone was very focused on this game because the Knicks had gotten waxed the first 2 games.
Yep.
So they play it a 3rd time, and they got hammered. The Knicks lost, but it was non-competitive. Second half, they got blown out. 4th quarter, you couldn't even play your starters. I think they lost by 30. And I was so annoyed. And you know this, you're a fan. In the heat of the moment, I took to Twitter. And I tweeted, it's sad to see the Knicks are not in the same class as the Pistons. Now, Brandon, mind you, that's the 3rd time they played. And I think on average, those 3 games, they had lost by 28 points on average. Okay?
Yeah.
So Jerry, who I've always liked him. I think he's talented and entertaining. I think he's a good sports fan.
Did you ever meet him? We ever meet him or no? Okay.
No, I never met him. He takes to Twitter, how dare you say this? Not the same class. I'm like, they're not. They're factually, they're not. They're getting hammered by a 60-win team. and they don't compete with them. And it's the third time. It's not like it's a one-off, Jerry. It's the third time this has happened, and we go back and forth. I said, listen, I hope to be wrong. I don't think I'm wrong. You don't know. Last year they beat Boston. You didn't expect that. I said, yeah. I said, they got fortunate to beat Boston. I'm sorry. I'm a Knicks fan, but I can be honest about it. They got fortunate. Boston led the first 2 games by 20-plus points, and somehow in miraculous fashion, the Knicks come back. And every time now the Knicks have like a statement win, he attacks me on Twitter. Are they in the same class as San Antonio? And I'm like, oh, all right, Jerry. Okay. All right. And he's unrelenting. And again, I want to be wrong. I want the Knicks to win. But they beat Atlanta, and it looked awful in the first 3 games. Then they figure something out. They run the offense through Towns. It looks amazing, and things are rolling, and that's wonderful. But when they beat Atlanta, hey, are the Knicks in the same class as Atlanta? I never said anything about Atlanta. I never said anything about Philadelphia. I think that, in my opinion, from having watched the regular season, Boston and Detroit were in a different class. It appears that I'm wrong. I'm happy to be wrong. But even today, he's after it today. He's a man. I respect it. He's a man on a mission who will not relent. Almost a page out of my own book, because that's the way I am. Yeah. But now I see why people get annoyed and frustrated with me, because it's annoying at this point.
Has he crossed any lines in terms of getting personal?
No, not at all. Brandon, to be completely honest, I really like him.
He's the best.
But Jerry's the thing that annoyed me about him, and this is truthful, he looks like he's going to win this Pistons-Knicks battle the whole way as long as they beat Cleveland. During the night of the draft, he's a big Giants fan.
Yes. This is what I wanted to get into. Go ahead.
I was somewhat horrified by this. So he tweets he's going to pause the Knicks game and watch the draft, and then go back and watch the Knicks game on tape delay. And I was like, dude, do you have a second television? And he's like, that's not the way I like to do it. I'm not comfortable doing it like that. And I'm a creature of habit too. But I mean, just tell me who the Giants are taking, and then let me focus on the Knicks. Tell me who the Giants are taking at 10, and now let me focus on the Knicks. He couldn't comprehend, and he got very bent out of shape with that as well. So I'd love to sit down and kind of clear the air, but it seems like he hates me, which I'm fine with. And it seems like this is kind of a burgeoning a situation happening right now.
Yeah, it's growing, which is why, I'm trying to be the mediator here. I don't like radio or content beeps. I want people to get along, have a good time. I've known Jerry for 20 years. I love him.
He's great.
He's awesome, dude. Here's the crazy thing, though, about this is that he does the same shit with me. Now, maybe not as incessantly, okay? But Jerry aside for a minute, some people are just dumb. People can't comprehend, and I don't mean that about Jerry at all. They can't comprehend, like, oh, you said the Knicks had no chance. Oh, the Knicks are playing stylistically differently than they were when I said that they weren't going to win. The offense is going through Cat, which means Mike Brown has made adjustments, which means Cat has been receptive to him. And then residually, so is Brunson, because the ball's in his hand less. And Bridge, you can evolve as a team, and then based on the evolution, as somebody who does what we do for a living, have a different opinion on what the ceiling might be, but yet so few people can comprehend that. And sometimes I feel like put my fist through the laptop, because the amount of idiots who just can't get that, that part drives me nuts. I don't get that part.
There's a lot of idiots, right? And a lot of idiots are out there. But I don't understand how even if I'm wrong, I'm willing to admit it. It looks like I've made a mistake. Clearly, the Knicks are in a different class. Although he wasn't tweeting me after game 2 against Atlanta or game 3 against Atlanta, then it was very quiet. It's when the Knicks have gotten hot. And again, Brandon, I'm happy to be wrong. I want to be wrong.
I say the same thing.
Did I expect the Giants to win the Super Bowl in 2007 and go on that run? No. Would I have picked the Cowboys against them and the Packers against them and the Patriots against them? Of course. Would I love to eat crow? Would I love for the Knicks to beat Cleveland, which I think they will, and go on to the finals and win the whole thing? I'd love it. I'd love it. I'd love to sit here and tell you, come back on this fine show and say, man, Brandon, was I wrong? But, again, what have they done so far? They've played great basketball for the last 7 games. They beat Atlanta, who they should have beaten, and they beat Philadelphia, who they should have beaten. Right?
But you feel good about them now, I hope.
I feel great.
The Knicks are I think they're gonna win in 5.
I think they're gonna steamroll.
Yeah.
I think they're gonna steamroll. I think they're gonna win. I said on the air today, I think they're going to the series in 5. I don't trust James Harden as far as I can throw him.
No.
I think Cleveland is soft. The Knicks have home court. And I said, there's another thing he was tweeting me about even before I came on here. I saw he's like, Dave said on his show today something to the effect of, if the Knicks don't go to the finals now, I don't know that they'll ever go to the finals. And I stand by it. If they don't go now, Brandon, I don't know when the hell they'll go to the NBA finals.
Now, ever or like down the like that's a long macro.
I didn't mean 2080.
You meant with this group.
Right.
I don't disagree.
I meant now.
Dave, there was a point this year, and it's funny, like you got to have definitive takes, right? The worst thing is to listen to somebody, well, I don't know, maybe.
Yeah. Oh, that's great.
That, dude.
Makes for fine radio.
Yes, I'm going to tell you what I'm thinking in the moment based on what I've observed and, kind of piecing things together. And if I've got to amend that, like you, I will happily man up and do it. I hope that I'm wrong when I say something like counter to this Knicks team can't win anything. This Yankees team isn't going to win the World Series. I hope that I'm wrong, right? But to me, this group, all right, this is the last shot. Like, because, Giannis could be in play less than he was a month or two ago. If they were to flame out against the Cavs, which I don't think there's much of a chance at all of that happening. But if they did, Mike Brown, is he back? I mean, then you got to revisit the roster. Like, so if you're talking about this iteration of the Knicks, this is their last shot. I would agree with that.
I didn't mean 30, 40, 50 years down the road, but this cat OG, I mean, you have, because we're assuming OG is going to be healthy. So you're going to have, right. So you're going to have good health.
Yeah.
You're fully rested. You have home court. You have more depth. I said it before. He took a front to it. I'll say it again. If not now, when? Yeah. If not now, how do I ever look at this team and think they're going to get to the NBA Finals? I can't.
I'm with you, because then you've got to look at Jalen Brunson, who is on still a very team-friendly contract. Like, there's other issues that eventually he's going to get paid big money. Cat's contract is up in a year or two. There's a lot at play. I'm with you on that. I just want to make sure, because Jerry's my boy. I like what you do. I got respect for you. I'm like, this thing's kind of lingering around for a month now. Like, what's going on?
Because he won't stop. Because he's like a gnat that just, you smack it on the side of your neck and you're like, oh, it's still, I can't get rid of it.
Yeah.
It will. And again, I like him. This is all for enjoyment and fun. And I think he's a good guy. Yeah. But it's like, all right, Jerry, we get it.
Did you watch? Of course, you watched Entourage. Did you watch? Oh my God. Did you watch it right away, or did you get into it later?
Right away. Loved it.
Me too.
Loved it. Oh, sensational show.
All right, give me your 3 favorite characters in order from the show.
Starting at 3?
You could go descending order. Sure. 3, 2, 1.
I'm going to go, boy.
Tough Johnny, one, right? Isn't it really easier, as you're thinking about that, Dave, as you're thinking about that, to me, it's easier to do The Sopranos. Like I could just rifle.
Well, Tony's got to be your favorite character.
Well, yeah, but I love Johnny Sack. What Johnny Sack brought to the table was phenomenal. And Chris is in my top 3.
Oh yeah, he's a sensational as well.
He might be number 1, Chris, actually, even more than Tony in a weird way.
Chris Moltisanti, yeah, of course.
He might be.
It's possible. All right, so I think I'm going to start 1 because it's so obvious to me now. Ari's got to be 1.
Ari's in the top 3.
Ari's an unbelievable elite character.
Yep.
I would put Johnny too. I think
it was great.
Johnny Drama is unbelievable, and then I would put Eric. I would put E as number 3.
Okay, now no Sloan. I mean, we got to get her in there.
I mean, now if you're asking the most attractive women to have shown up on that, then that's different. But as far as just like pure character development, no, I would not put Sloan in my top 3.
It was such an awesome show. So to me, I feel like we have some good common ground here. I'm sure Jerry's watching this, and we're going to get this to him. And listen, hopefully we win, and we're all hanging out at the parade together, man.
That'd be great.
Can you imagine a Knicks parade? Seriously?
No, I actually can't. Like, I can, but I can't. I can't even envision. You have people are hanging from light poles when they win Game 2 against Atlanta. No, I cannot envision what this city would be like. I mean, 94 was so wild. Mm-hmm. And I'll be honest with you, truth be told, of my teams, I like the Rangers a little more than the Knicks. So I was I was even more, because I grew up on the island, and I had the Islanders fans in my face all the time. And 1940 was like just catastrophic for me. And every time I'd walk through school, but hey, Rothenberg, 1940, and I'm like, stop it, enough, I can't take it anymore. And when the Rangers won, it lifted that entire curse. So I love the Knicks. Don't get me wrong. I love the Knicks. But 94, it's like you're going Knicks and Rangers and Knicks and Rangers, and the Rangers win. So as upsetting as the Knicks losing was, it wasn't equal to what it would be now because I did have the benefit of the Rangers. 99, I mean, it was an incredible run. And let's be fair, San Antonio was just head and shoulders better.
I knew
mean,
we had no chance to win
oh
that.
my God.
None.
You remember
was
like
done.
the big thing was if Avery Johnson can shoot outside of 12 feet, they have no chance. And he actually played well in that series.
Yes, he did.
And I mean, Robinson was a monster and Duncan was out of this world and they had no chance, none. And now here we are with this team. No, to answer your question in a long-winded way, I cannot imagine if they were to win a championship.
So you saw the Giants win a couple times, obviously.
4.
You saw the Mets
Mm-hmm.
in '86, of course, and obviously the Subway Series. Well, at least seen them get there, whatever. And you've never seen the Knicks. So give me the order. Would a Knicks championship usurp another one for the Giants or for the Mets? If you can literally, flip a switch and say this team will win, and then that team, like, what's the order for you right now?
All right, so you're going to be disappointed in me, but I have to be honest with you because that's my style.
It's going to be Giants.
It would be the Giants. It's not close. It's not close. It would be the Giants. I would take a Giants championship over any team that I've ever rooted for ever, and it's not close. That's my team. That's from the time I'm 4 years old. I mean, I remember standing in front of the TV rooting for John Mendenhall. I mean, my dad and I went to games. I mean, you name it. That's always been my team. Brad Van Pelt, number 10, Harry Carson.
Yeah.
I mean, I love the Giants.
Butch Woolfolk, the running back, remember him?
Out of Michigan, yeah, of course.
Yeah,
number 25. I mean, I absolutely adore the Giants. It's an unhealthy obsession I have with the Giants. And I think part of it, and I think you're like this too, is this bond that I had with my dad because he was a Giants fan and he would go to all the games. And then, when I came into the picture, he and I would bond over that. And even when you get to that point where you're like 14, 15, 16, the last thing you want to do is like hang out with your dad. Sundays, 1:00, he'd be in the den and I'd be in the den. And we would watch football all day long. So it's just something special about that. And he liked the Knicks. He liked the Knicks. He didn't really care for hockey because he could never follow the puck.
Yeah, my dad couldn't stand hockey. Still to this day doesn't get it.
Was a New York Giants baseball fan, so he kind of punted on baseball until I got into the Mets in the early to mid 80s, and then he kind of got back into the Mets. But the Giants is my number one, and it's not close at this point. I'd probably say the Knicks would be 2
over the Mets.
Yeah, over them because I've seen the Mets win. But I've seen the Mets win.
But so long.
It's 40 years, but I witnessed it. I saw it. I lived it. I mean, I was 13. It's not like I don't remember it. I fully remember it.
Yeah,
I fully remember it.
Wow.
So I would say Knicks 2, Mets 3, Rangers 4.
It's interesting, man. So you're growing up on Long Island.
Yeah.
You're not an Islander fan. You're a Ranger fan. You're not a Jet fan in that Long Island's Jet country. I mean, you're kind of going against the grain even when you were a kid there, Dave.
Well, I'll tell you why. You're right. Because I beat to my own drummer. But here's the thing. Like I told you, my dad was a Giants football fan. Right. Yeah. I mean, we had tickets. He used to go to Polo Grounds, Yankee Stadium, New Haven,
the Yale Bowl, right? The
Yale Bowl,
Yep.
Shea Stadium. They played for a year,
Yep.
And then they went to Giants Stadium in '76. So he was a Giants fan, and I became a Giants fan because I'm not one of these punk kids. These punk kids now. They see their dad rooting for whoever, and they go the other way.
Oh no!
I saw my dad rooting for the Giants, and I went that way. That's what I wanted. I wanted to be like him, so I rooted for the Giants. Like I told you, I probably would have been a Yankees fan. But he kind of forbid me from being a Yankees fan because he hated the Yankees because he was a New York Giants baseball fan. The hockey he didn't care about. And I was just so turned off by these whiny, obnoxious Islanders fans. I went in the Rangers direction. You can't say I'm a bandwagon there.
No.
And then the Knicks are the Knicks. So that's how I come by my fandom. I come by it honestly.
All right. So you've got, let's say you got a little 3-hour ride and no wife, no kids in the car. 3 bands you're going to flip on, you're going to really listen to, you're going to dive in over and over. You just get all the songs you want from those 3, individuals, bands, whatever it might be.
So my number one, and I've loved them since I'm a little kid, is Van Halen. Eddie Van Halen is just a maestro.
Yeah.
More Dave than Sammy, but I'm not. But there's a lot of people that they can't accept Sammy because they love Dave so much.
Yep.
I enjoy Sammy. I just like Dave more. So I'm going to go with that.
Van Halen's
as my
great.
clear number one.
Okay.
Great. You love him. Everyone
love
loves
him. Love Panama. Come on, stop. Come on.
Amazing.
Hot for teacher. Phenomenal.
Led Zeppelin would be 2.
I'm not a big Zepp guy.
Really?
I'm not. A lot of my buddies are. No, and I appreciate certainly their impact. I mean, when they broke in and just how they kind of really changed. If I have this right, kind of after like Jimi Hendrix, you go early 70s, and they really ushered in this totally new sound and just their presence on stage. And listen, I like their like 4, 5, 6 mainstream songs for sure. But
Yep.
no, I don't go too deep into the
Okay.
annals of Led Zepp. But you got Led Zepp 2. What do you got number 3?
I would either go, and this is kind of lazy, maybe, but I'd either go Beatles or Billy Joel.
Billy Joel's number 1 for
I
me.
love both. I mean,
Yeah.
I think Billy Joel is phenomenal. It's funny, they had this Billy Joel channel on Sirius, like channel 105.
Yes.
And then all of a sudden they took it away. I was like, where did this go?
Well, they do that, but Dave, they do that with a lot of artists where they'll give you like a month or two and then he's gone. No, I used to listen to that all the time going in to do the show with the fan. Where when the Billy channel popped up, I'm like, here we go. The only thing about
Yep.
Billy, and I've seen Billy in concert quite a bit, and he's my all-time favorite. But I went like when you got to River of Dreams, at that point, I'm like,
It starts to fade off a little bit then. Yeah, I agree with that.
It didn't sound. It
It's
sounded
not
a
the
little,
same. It's not the same. But the thing is, he has so many great hits prior to that.
Oh yeah.
That he's sensational. He
Well,
really is.
I think Stormfront is ridiculously underrated. Like you start getting into like Down East or Alexa,
Mhm.
like that's some good stuff.
It's great. It's great. Did you see the documentary on Billy
did.
Joel?
It's great.
And So It Goes. Yeah.
Yeah.
And you know what the thing about it is? I think it was 4 hours, two part.
Yes.
Two,
Yeah, it was 4.
2 hour.
Yeah.
And you never lost like it always was engaging.
It was awesome.
It was just a terrific documentary.
Remember when he lost it? Of course you do, but the $30 million. Think about this, right? So you're a musician, you're a great lyricist like Billy Joel's always been. And it's one thing to try to pump out some thought-provoking, transcendent music just because you're Billy Joel. Imagine having to write that album under the pressure to get yourself back to square one financially.
I can't.
No.
I can't imagine what that's like.
Yeah.
No.
I mean,
But-
the only thing
and
Dave,
his story's so interesting.
It's
I
the
mean,
best.
it's
the only,
so interesting.
I don't mean to interrupt, but the
That's
only
okay.
thing, the only thing that you and I could probably relate it to is like, you know, and I know that I went through this early in my career. Like when you get a chance on a station and you're like, you know, like I've got to do my best. I gotta impress the PD. I gotta impress ESPN. I gotta impress Chernoff. I gotta impress Spitz. Like, you know, you almost get in your own head if you're not careful, where you're almost too focused and you can get in your way. And I know that you know what I mean by that, right?
Yeah, oh, absolutely. Because I mean, and I joke with Rick all the time. It's like, you have no idea how easy you have it.
Oh.
You wake up one day, Alan Hahn says to you, hey, want to do evenings with me? Sure. Everyone loves you. And then they're like, how about middays? Okay. How about morning? Okay. Like he hasn't gone through, right? Like the trials and tribulations of and he would admit this. It's not like he hides from this, of what we have gone through. Like I mean, I'm taking the 1 a.m. train from Greenwich, Connecticut back into the city. You know, I'm driving in like the cotton fields of Bowie's Creek, North Carolina. He's never had to deal with that. So yes, what we've had to deal with is above and beyond, and we do it because it's a labor of love.
Yeah, and not to mention, I forget the exact amount. He's got that big check still coming in.
Yeah, which we mention as often as we can. The fact that he
I
doesn't need this, Brand. He'll tell you that I don't need to do radio. We got it. You don't need to do it.
Well, that's the beautiful thing, and really, that's why he and I. One thing that I noticed, like when I was at ESPN, like if we would get a little risque, not that I really listened, I would still do whatever I wanted because that's just how I just do my shows. But the corporate line and the barriers was so much more defined back then. Even just like shitting on the Jets as the home of the Jets back then, whatever it might be. We're very protective of the brand, which I get. I certainly get that. But I think it's changed and loosened up. And I feel like Rick is probably the reason why. Like I says whatever he wants. It's unbelievable.
I said today something about Cher. And I mean, boy, if you had some lube, you'd have a great time with Cher. It's like, Rick, what are you doing?
I don't know if he's wrong. I mean, is he
I don't know
wrong?
if he's wrong. I don't know that it was appropriate to say on air. But yeah, if the line is here, he's going to leapfrog the line. And guess who, when he does these kind of things, Brandon, guess who it is that gets in trouble? You would think it was Rick. No. Dave, how could you let him say that about, like, how could I? I don't control him. I'm not a ventriloquist. What do you mean, how could I? You can't allow him to say this kind of stuff.
So
and then if
Winthrop gets on you?
No, not anymore. They used to years ago. They used to do. Winthrop's the best, but no, they it's very funny the way that they handle him. They sometimes feel like they're a little fearful of handling him. And then if I ever kind of cross the lines, like, that's not you. That's Rick. Don't you do that.
I dealt with it too, man. I really did. Big wrestling fan growing up or no? I haven't heard you talk about this much.
Growing up, yes. Not anymore.
No.
Now not anymore. Now it's like, what are we doing? Oh, dude. I mean, we sit there and name you. Oh, I mean, WrestleMania 3 with Hulk Hogan and Andre the Giant. I mean, oh, great. Ricky the Dragon Steamboat.
And Macho Man.
Macho Man. Jake
Piper.
the Snake Roberts. You name it. Yeah, the fabulous Rougeau brothers. I used to
there you
love
go.
wrestling. But then I grew up a little bit,
Yeah,
Then I grew up a little bit and not a lot, but a little bit, to the point that wrestling is not my thing anymore.
Okay, no, I'm kind of in the same way. Like, I love, I've caught up on it. I didn't even really watch, like, Shawn Michaels as the Heartbreak Kid. Like, I kind of checked out, but then I went back and I caught up over the years. But no, I'm not locked into WrestleMania now. But the old stuff, like, I can watch, and I do. I watch, YouTube, Piper's Pit. I mean, cracking snooker with the coconut, or just shitting on something. Like, just, I love the old school stuff, but I do have my limits now. I wanted to ask you this, right? Because I'm curious how much you play up. Just because you're an entertainer, it seems, and my wife's the same way. Like, it seems like she puts up with a lot, whether it's your habits of watching games, or your traditions, or your just, the way you are. Is she even a sports fan? Like, does she like sports?
She was. What I've done is I've systematically killed that portion of her.
You broke her down.
Brandon, I've killed it. She used to really like sports.
Well, that's nice of you.
Love college basketball, and she would enjoy watching Duke, and she used to root for the Washington Commanders, and we got rid of that immediately. And then her whole sentiment was, I feel like in a relationship, whoever cares more, we go in that direction. So she's like, you care more about the Giants, so we'll punt on Washington and I'll root for the Giants. But I'm just such an animal when it comes to this stuff, and so unrelenting that she's just like, you know what, I don't even care anymore. I don't care. I don't like the way you act when you watch these games. You're out of control, and I'm going to go do some other house project or something else, or call a friend, or watch a show, rather than watch games with you.
Well, good. So you actually succeeded. You get to you.
Is that what I was looking for?
Well, but it's not a bad win in terms of the byproducts. She basically ignores you, which means you can watch the games and just do whatever you want.
Right, but it's not what but my intent was not, hey, if I act like such a savage asshole, now my wife won't want to watch these games with me. It's just like you said, it's a byproduct of being a little bit crazed when it comes to sports.
I get it. Do you think that you'll maintain this fandom? Because let's face it, a lot of people, when you do it as long as we've done it now in our early 50s, and been in front of a mic and for a long time, both of us here, some things can wane a little bit, some things can dry up a little bit. Like, I'm still really, now I'm also, and we'll talk about this before I let you go, our sons and baseball and daughters, and like I'm going to get to Ben. I can't wait to talk about that for a minute with you. But things just aren't as important, to an extent, for sure, as they were when we were single and whatever. But your level of fandom on a scale of 1 to 10 compared to where it was 15 years ago is where? What number?
Same
exact.
Same. I remember being at my friend's house when I was a little boy. My friend Tom's house, and we're watching a Rangers playoff game in like 84. So I'm like 11 years old.
Okay.
10, 11, 12 years old, in that range. Going crazy. Like, and of course, because they always lost, eventually they lose, and I'm heartbroken, and it's awful. And his father, and I always remember, his father turned to me and he goes, at some point, this stuff's just not going to matter all that much to you. And I looked at him, I said, no, I think you're wrong. And he said, I'm telling you, when you have real responsibility, and you have a job, and you have a career, and you have a family, and you have kids, this is not going to matter. And fast forward 40 years, it matters as much today as it did then.
And hold on, Dave, just as an aside, what a buzzkill. Dude, I'm 10 years old. Can you let me enjoy the series?
Right.
My God.
Well, he's like, listen, I think the Rangers had another catastrophic, heartbreaking loss. And he's like, don't let it get you crazy. It's not going to always get you crazy. Don't allow that. And I remember sitting there thinking to myself, no, it's going to always get me crazy. I always wanted to get me crazy, and that's who I am. And it has. And I've stuck by it for my entire life. So you asked the question, at what point does it start to fade? And I don't think so. I don't see it. I don't see it.
So that's when you were 10. I mean, what was he telling you about life insurance when you were 11? I mean, I don't think I'd go over that kid's house anymore.
We were talking about how, divorces and, paternity suits and all that kind of stuff when I was 13.
Right. So I heard you, and I remember like doing a Google search. I'm like, because my son's playing PG. I know Ben played a lot of baseball as well. And I'm like, and I heard you say it a couple of years ago, and like he had a home run, and you're obviously very proud. And I found a little bit on Ben, and now he's playing collegiately. And Listen, dude, it's amazing. I know he hit a home run. I looked up the website. He's got a home run as a freshman. So what
Yeah, it
were
was
you at the
great.
game when he went deep? First of all, were you there?
So they played 30. I had told him originally. I said, I'm going to go to every game. He's like, Dad, you're not going to be able to go to every game. I said, I'm going to go to every game.
Yep.
I did not, Brandon. I was a little disappointed in myself. I went to 24 of 38 games.
That's awesome, dude. That's good.
24 of 30. Because like Tuesday at 5 in the afternoon, 3-hour drive, game ends at 8 or 8:30. Now I got to get back at midnight. Now I got to be up at 4. I couldn't, right? So they play. So I went to 24 of 38. I did everything I could to get to as many as possible. Now, mind you, he didn't really play.
Mm-hmm.
If he had played more, I would have gone more, but I went to 24 of 38. But every weekend, we drove to, remember the weekend of that massive snowstorm in February?
Oh, it was miserable. Yeah.
They opened the season on a Saturday. They played a doubleheader. They were supposed to play Sunday. We drove down Friday, 8 hours, 2 games Saturday. They win both. And then Saturday evening, they're like, we can't play Sunday. It's going to be a massive storm. So we drove 8 hours back on Saturday evening. Got back like 3 a.m, right?
Well, they have to whatever. They've got a nice turf field out because you're not playing on grass and dirt with the snow. They got turf up there.
Yeah, they played the Lancaster Barnstormers' actual home stadium.
Oh wow!
Yeah, that's where Trevor Bauer threw that no-hitter for the Ducks against the Lancaster. So so I went to the game that he played in. They played, oh God, who did they play? Swarthmore, right?
In Pennsylvania.
In Pennsylvania, but it was a home game. First game, we win. Second game, we're getting crushed. I mean, and I don't know, you played D1, D3, like when you get crushed, it's not 9-2. It's like 19-1. Like so we're down, I think 13-1.
Okay.
And he had gotten 2 or 3 at-bats on the season, steps to the plate. And like your son plays, whenever your kid takes the mound or steps, and you feel this tremendous rush of all the
everything,
anxiety and nervousness and excitement. And it's like just crazed.
Yes.
So like, okay, come on now. You know what to do. And he takes a breath, steps in, ball 1, swings, misses, strike 1. Like, all right. And then crack. I'm like, man, he hit that really well. I think that has a chance to split the outfield.
It is high.
Like, yeah. And then I'm like, oh my God, it's going to go. Clears the wall, 385.
There you go.
Clears the wall, goes around, touches home. Now, I was over on the side because, again, it's such a blowout, whatever. Mm-hmm. I'm over on the side. This is how great baseball is in sports is. The parents start coming over and, like, hugging me.
Yep.
Like, congratulations. Now, I think it's 13-3 now.
Yep.
But they're like, you'll never forget this moment. His first ever collegiate hit was a home run.
Oh.
And one of the moms comes over to me, and I'm like, are you crying? She's like, her son's a senior. It's over for her. He's done. She's like, take every second in. Take it. She's like, congratulations. You'll never forget this. And it was amazing. It was amazing.
Well, you texted me over the weekend. We were setting this up. You're like, I think your exact words were like, I'm jealous. You have your journey's just starting.
Well, how old is your son?
He turned 11 a couple of months. He's 11.
So you're not even playing 60-90 yet.
No.
Oh, yeah. I'm so jealous of you. Yeah. You have years.
Yes. All right. Yes. But having said that, I mean, I'm looking at a picture in my home office where, when he was playing 7U and he's a baby and now he's 11. He hasn't hit puberty yet, but he's 11. I'm like, this shit's going quick.
You know what the great thing, and like I told you the story with my dad with the football before and had the Giants, even if we had issues or I didn't do well in school because I didn't really care about school much. Like I would go into the den and 1:00 Sunday we'd watch even 12:30 CBS, Brent Musburger, right? You're looking live and Phyllis and Jimmy the Greek, the whole thing.
Oh yeah.
Like even when Ben and I, we were never really on the outs. We've always had a great relationship, but when he's 16 years old and we have a tournament in Diamond Nation and you're kind of forced into, I remember we must have spent 50 nights at the Hampton Inn in Diamond Nation.
Oh, that's right. Because you're coming from Long Island to go to Flemington, New Jersey.
If you have like 8:00 in the morning games, you're not going to leave the house at 5:15.
Yep.
So we would stay over and it's just like, I will cherish those forever. And he's forced to go out to dinner with dad and the teammates and it is the best. So enjoy every second of it because you were in for an amazing run, an amazing treat. And your son looks like he's a good player too. So that's really fun too.
I appreciate that. Yeah, he's got a little talent. There's a lot of good players out there, but he's got a chance to be pretty good. I'm proud of him. But it's early, so I'm not going to go nuts. Still putting away college money.
As you should.
So was he thinking about going more local? What other schools was he considering?
So the whole thing is very stressful because you go to these showcases and they're kind of geared more towards the pitcher than they are the hitter. Because you get pitchers that are throwing 35 pitches, and you're going to get the best version of a pitcher throwing few pitches. So, if you don't do well in front of whatever coach that happens to be, now a coach that's very interested in you, now he's not interested in you. So yeah, he like Vassar really, really wanted him, and that didn't work out. He had offers from, I don't know if he had an offer. Colby was very interested in him up in Maine.
Yep.
So a lot of Division threes, and then he went to a camp, like it's just the actual for Franklin and Marshall, a camp there, and he I guess he faced the same kid a few times, and he kept thinking to himself, "Oh, I hope they don't take him out," because he was tattooing this kid, off the wall, triples, doubles. Then after that, they were like, "Listen, we really like you a lot," and they made it work, and it's just great. So he loves it. He needs that focus of the baseball, and he loves the workout. He loves the grind. He loves all of it, and he's going to fight for a starting spot next season. So
that's awesome.
It's really cool.
If you're getting run as a sophomore, which you still has to earn, as you just allude to, that you're going to wind up getting a lot of games under your belt. Now, if Vassar was after him, because my sister almost went to Vassar, which is not far from Marist. Vassar,
right there in Poughkeepsie,
right there, elite academic school. So Benny's got some good grades. It seems like you raised him well, good in school, unlike us.
He did much better in school. He could have done more, but he's one of those kids that he does as much as he or as little as he has to do just well enough.
Yeah.
Unlike me, who I'm like, I don't care because I know exactly what I'm going to do, and I'm one of the few that knew what they were going to do, put little effort into it growing up, and then still was able to accomplish what I wanted to do. He's a smart kid. He's a really, really smart kid, and he's a great kid. So I'm proud of him. I'm proud of him academically and athletically. He's a really good boy,
man. Listen, generous with your time. Just a quick yes or no. I mean, if you want to elaborate, you could, but I want to let you get going. I know you had a long day doing the show with Rick there. I mean, Mets regenerate to the point where they get a wild card, or is this a little blip here? What do we got?
Blip. And you took down of all the people you had to take down. Clay Holmes is just such a crushing blow. I mean,
listen, like Clay Holmes. I know
he's hard not to like, and Spencer Jones. I guess he knows him from down in train together at some point. He was really upset when he found out the news. Listen. I'm not crapping on Yankees fans. Yesterday was a great win for the Mets.
I agree.
Great win. Why he's throwing a curveball in that situation is kind of beyond me, but it's a great win.
And we don't have Bednar shit.
I don't think he's very good, and you can't rely on him. For the duration, you can't rely on him to be the answer as you move forward here as the closer. But if there's one thing Cashman's going to fix, it's going to be the bullpen. He'll bring in a legitimate closer. They're just not healthy. I mean, Polanco's out, Roberts out, Lindor's out, Holmes is out, Manaea sucks. I think there are just too many holes on this team. If they were in the American League, I would have the conversation of how do they work their way back into the mix here. The National League is just too much. It's too strong. I don't know how they do. I'd love it if they do. I'll be there if they do. I'll be there if they don't. But I think it's just too much this season.
I think you're probably right. I mean, Braves are one of the 2 or 3 best teams in baseball. Philly's red hot. Mets got a lot of work to do. I mean, if anything, at least they've stabilized it and given a little injection of hope.
Sure.
But I think I'm with you, man. I don't see them being a playoff team, but you never know. All right, dude. Hey, I had a lot of fun, man. Really nice to get you on the show, bouncing around. If you guys are just tuning in, if you missed it, he and Jerry are good. We hit a lot of different things. By the way, it took you 7 minutes to connect the phone.
Because this connection, I don't know, the AirPods, they weren't working when you had your producer on. I heard you great. Then when you went to just you, I couldn't hear a thing. So that's on me. I apologize. Next time we'll have it worked out in a better capacity. If, of course, you'd like me on another time.
I'd love to have you on. By the way, are you at ESPN or are you home right now? Where are you?
I'm home right now. Home studio, right behind me.
Oh, so you did the show from home today?
Mm-hmm.
You did every day or no?
Mm-mm.
I didn't think so. Okay.
A couple days a week, I'm home, and then a couple days a week, I'm in the studio. Today, you caught me on a home day.
You don't notice a big difference in how I know you guys have a good rapport, but a little tricky.
There was a time we've been doing it so long.
Yep.
And we were doing 5 days a week during COVID for years. So at the beginning, yes. Now, no.
Gotcha. All right, dude. We will get you back on. Good luck to your Rangers, whatever the hell they do next year. I mean, I'll talk to you before then. Your Metsies, let's go Knicks. We're unified on that. Good stuff, man. Really, really good to have you on. I appreciate it, man. Generous with your time, dude.
Anytime, Brandon. Appreciate it, man. Thank you.
There you go. You got it. There he is. Told you we'd get him on. Yeah, he is. I think one of the reasons why it works, I think this applies to a lot of people, right? A lot of people in my business that are good, that are talented, that are consistently on point with their takes and their energy and their passion. I think one thing, and I've never even been in the same room with Dave. That'll hopefully change at some point. Maybe get dinner, maybe have a beer, whatever. Maybe watch a game together, get him back on the show. But to me, Dave is off the air who he is on the air. And, not everybody is. So if you are very different off the air, it's going to be, okay, camera's on. Let me ratchet it up and let me be an incredibly heightened version of myself because that's what I've been doing. No. And that's why I've always looked at Dave as we have some similarities there. Like he's a lunatic. Like he gets unhinged with certain things. And I've always loved that. Like the guy who sounds like Mad Dog, the guy who sounds crazy, the guy who projects that he cares as much about what he's talking about as I do on the other end listening. It's a talented person. That's somebody I want to listen to. So hopefully you guys enjoyed that. J-Rod, what'd you think, buddy? Good? Now hold on, Jay. We can't hear you.
Now I'm going off.
What'd you think? Pretty good, right?
Dude, that was awesome, man.
Yeah, man.
I mean,
that was fun.
And, not even just like the little Jerry thing, which I thought it was great. He still had a little juice to him for it. He's certainly in it.
Yeah.
But, dude, like, for two guys who, I mean, as you're saying, I've never met each other. I've never spoken. That was as free-flowing of a conversation as we've done here. And I love that. I mean, like all the guys we've spoken to so far, but something about him reminded me of myself. Like, I could just tell this guy goes all, like, he's kind of got, a nice demeanor going down, but I can tell, like, this guy just gets livid about his sports. I love the story about the friend's dad. I thought that was awesome.
Come on. What a depressing dude that guy is. I mean, hey, son, let me tell you something. I mean, like,
I've never had an adult tell me that in my life.
Even now, as an adult. I mean, like, sure, I get parental wisdoms from my parents, which I value, but like, I couldn't imagine. And it's funny, he was at his friend Tommy's house, and my best friend growing up at that age early was Tommy, a couple of houses down, and his dad, who's no longer with us, he passed away, but a great guy. He used to play in the street with us, play wiffle ball, just a really good guy. Played a lot of golf with my dad before he passed away. I love the family, but like his dad was just so cool. Like we'd be in the basement watching the Jets or the Giants, whatever we're watching. Like if he ever came down, he's like, guys, it doesn't matter if Don Mattingly went 0 for 4 tonight. You're going to have to pay for college. You're going to have to get a job. You're going to have life insurance. You're like, dude, what a buzzkill. I'm not staying here. Why would I stay here? I'm going somewhere else.
What are you talking about, bro?
Oh,
so I thought that was great. Also, good Hot for Teacher reference. I was listening to that song yesterday.
Hot for Teacher.
I have something to write on.
Yeah.
Great
I mean,
song.
come on.
Great
Just
song.
the way it starts up.
Yeah, very
what
cool
else?
track.
I mean, I think we emptied the tank for today. Obviously, tomorrow, a lot of Knicks stuff. We'll get this. We'll get the Dave interview just isolated. J-Rod's got some work to do now. Obviously, the Subway Series takes at the top. A lot of Knick content in there as well. Pretty decent viewership numbers during the show today, so I appreciate that. Like it, subscribe it, get it out there. 3 burning questions, a nice eclectic mix with that. So that's it. Jay, have a great Monday, buddy. I want to wish everybody an outstanding rest of your Monday. Appreciate the support. Hopefully you guys enjoyed me and Dave getting after it a little bit. And I will catch you guys tomorrow at 10. Massive Knick Day tomorrow. Catch you 10. Bye-bye.
This is Unleash. Are you listening? Can you hear me? This is Unleash. Are you listening? Can you hear me? This is Unleash. Are you listening? Can you hear me? This is Unleash. Are you listening? Can you hear me?
With your host, Brandon Tierney.